All right, welcome. If you're watching us, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. For the Wayward One, session 37. Whoop whoop.
Wayward
So,
ones! So lost.
so looks like the stream is really unstable, so we're probably lagging out of our minds. I can't do anything about that. I'm just looking.
One frame at a time.
Yeah, data. So yeah, one frame at a time. It'll work. Okay. So where we are is essentially Warsatra. I believe like kind of fast tracking us a little bit because you had ended up at the tower and then you were like, oh, let's wait until right a specific point, the night where we imagine the creature will come because the intention is to fight the creature at the tower, and going through the necessary steps that would otherwise be similar. We based on the time frame, right? We are still kind of at the Ivrai, and then we're now going back in the direction of the tower for nightfall. I do want to retcon it a little bit if there's anything people would like to do prior to going back to the tower. Anything that they want to, we had that session where we went from the Salinar and engaging with them, and then we had the actual like ranger from Lady Trillia's fort, which we seem to have found that they are enchanted and under like an illusion. So, what is there? Is there anything in terms of asking further questions and such? Right. That's something to think about before we officially quote unquote depart. Um, Regardless of that, the Ivrai are going to be helping you all out and attacking Lady Trillia's fort. They will attack and distract from the southeast of the fort. And it's exactly similar to the other timeline in that they'll basically be waiting out, and then at a certain point, they'll be moving into position and getting ready. That's not any different than transpired in the other timeline. And so we're really now kind of trying to pick up on the steps, seeing if we can't get the bat, which is referred to as Nightwing, to now attack. But I just want to give anybody an opportunity before we get to the tower. If they want to take any further actions or do anything, or even just talk while you're on the way there. Nobody?
I believe it because it was still early, right? We left the Evrai because he said it'd take us probably to get back at the end of the day. So, what time would we generally be getting back or like leaving the Evrai?
If you left now, because we're at that point, as I stated, you kind of got there early, and then you said, "Hey, if we go to the Ivrai and do this, well, the time that we go from the Ivrai back to Warsatra, it'll be night," and that still stands true, right? You if you head out now, you'll get there.
All right. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do anything till we got to the tower.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't do anything unless we're setting up camp.
Sounds good. Okay, so I'm just going to fast track the time here. If you want to take a short rest amongst yourselves, you can. I'm going to put the time based on where you are at in terms of positions. No, this one.
Before we would have taken the short rest or during it, I would have cast Gift of Alacrity 3 times on Costas, Thea, and Istriel.
Okay, so you throw it off that D8 or the initiative
to all 3 of them, and then during the short rest get the Arcane Recovery.
Okay. Cool. Nice, Lucas. I just read your Discord. Lovely. So, as you all move through the grass area outside of the Ivrai Lake, you're now climbing back out of the low flat land and the water to dry. You can see the tower implanted into the stone with the black walls as they extend upwards in the same design as the other towers You're coming at this in a west to east direction, the entryway extending, protruding. The life creatures in the world around you is alive, signifying that the dragon and perhaps Nightwing are not close. Right? That was one of the telltale signs that the creatures kind of went silent, hid from those creatures. So you all are here. You can see the door. I don't need a roll for the octagonal like lock mechanism there. Just kind of assume at this stage that you are able to unlock that without any sort of guesswork. You are all kind of riding up into the air, walking up into the air, keeping your perceptions alert and looking for any undead that might be here, even though, right, we're going through the undead, right, the bodies and stuff, but you're definitely in a very alert party. Eyes are always circulating and looking. And before nightfall, you don't see anything. And then as night fell, right, your visions are cut short a little bit. And so you're now being guided by other sorts of perceptions beyond sight. And you don't hear anything. Nothing is amiss. And you're able to get up to the tower freely.
All right, I guess I'm going to open the door.
Okay. You work your thief's tools into the mechanism, fitting into the points of that lock. Eventually it opens the multiple different pieces out from the center point as they fold in. You immediately look into the tower and see the same vivid green light and the other colorations, echoing outwards from the yellowish crystal in space. Your eyes are alert. You know that the creatures, there are those in here that will be potentially summoned, right, or brought forth upon the stairwell. And so you have that understanding. So you're keeping an eye, and maybe perhaps if there's creatures already in here and you don't see anything. So it's rather vacant in the open hall of this tower.
All right, I'll start to make my way in. If I could move, that would be nice.
Guys, should we bother, like, summoning them Crystal Guardians or whatever again? Just to try to repeat the process of last time, or think it's safe enough to just camp out? They probably know we're here regardless, right?
Through the mind thing, I think maybe we should try to replay the things that happen. Maybe it go the same way, but I'm not too sure. Mostly everything has been a little different, but maybe just take this one step at a time. Hopefully it will reoccur and he can play that trap on us again.
Yeah. In the mind link, I'm going to agree with Othala. I think we didn't even try to get up the stairs last time. He came down. So
accidental trigger of the golems in the southern area.
that was the first tower. That wasn't the second one. The second one, we never triggered the golems.
Yeah, we were only looking at these statues.
Yeah.
True.
All right, everyone.
Do I have any volunteers to pilot my token?
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
Lucas just offered again.
Yeah.
I still have you assigned, Lucas, so I would not expect anybody else. The youthful hands of a young player. Two characters at the same time. It's a dream come true. As you pass in, the door shuts behind you, as it did before. You're left in the open, empty, vacant first floor of this tower.
Okay, everyone act clueless.
Yeah, I'm just looking around, seeing if anything looks different from the other timeline's version, or the other tower in this timeline that we came into.
Oh wow, this is a cool statue. What kind of architecture do you think this is? Like, I guess?
I don't know, man. You're the rich kid. You tell me. Who designed it? What era is it from?
Costas thinks back and tries to see what era and or kind of cultural inspiration this architecture is from.
Go ahead, make a history check.
And I don't hear anything in the tower, like maybe claws holding on to one of these pillars
Roll
or anything
perception.
like that.
9 history. It looks like a really cool statue of this black stone, similar to the walls of the tower, and you're pretty sure when you stare at it for a brief moment, it looks like it's welcoming you into this place. Quite nice. The 28 perception, through your eyes, hearing, looking, you don't see anything and you don't hear anything. It's just silence.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to avoid the stairs for now.
Well, these are some very welcoming statues. I don't know what could possibly spring out of the walls.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the stairs triggered it. Right? Wasn't it there a
That was the
mechanism that
that
was the
was the
first one? Right?
tower. The first tower where the what was her name? I don't remember her name. I would remember her name.
You would remember her name?
Yeah, Aloris? Aloris? Is that
Yeah, Loris.
There we go. Yeah, that was the tower with her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she was like, come upstairs. The second tower, we never actually got near the stairs before What's His Face came down. So
Hmm. So let's poke around.
yeah, I'm just looking at everything.
Well, if I'm a clueless adventurer, I might as well be curious about the stairs.
Costas is going to stand in a position where he's conveniently oriented that if someone were to fall down the stairs, he could catch them.
Soren is just following you, right? That's what I have them on as follow commands. They're just kind of
That's fine.
walking behind you, their hoofs clinking into the stone floor.
I'm gonna try walking up the stairs though in full well that what happened last time with the slippery mechanism.
Okay. So, you step on the stairs. As what has been predicted is so, stairs begin to turn into a ramp as they begin to fold upon themselves. Soren begins to backpedal away from the follow, moving 5 feet, and then 2 large creatures begin to emerge from the sides of the walls. As they do, no check is needed from you, Israel. Right, you're able to grab the railing. You predict this as such, and you can take 5 steps back if you wish to. Creatures then are going to come outwards. They then turn towards about all the rest of you as they begin to move out of the liquefied wall, and they come to attack. I need everyone to roll initiatives.
D8s for the 3 of y'all.
Oh yeah.
I've been rolling
Wow.
very low.
Okay, so Israel is going to go to a 14. Then I have Costas with a +4. 13. And then I have you to 3. So you're just going to go even higher on the turn order. How high could we get you? Love it. All right, so as we begin combat at the start here, we have round 1. That's going to kick us off here. Thea, you're up.
All right. If I recall correctly, these creatures understood Sylvan last time. I am not drawing my weapon because I remember last time that was a thing too. And I'm going to shout across the room. We mean no harm in Sylvan.
Okay.
And I will end my turn.
Okay. All right, there you go. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna put my hands behind my back. Stare at the one to my right and say, "Well, hey there, you're a large, rocky, spiky creature. What's your favorite color there, bud?" And enter.
Okay. We now come to the automaton, like crystal creature on the bottom right. Crystal creature makes no motion of noise to any both of you from your commands. It simply walks up in the direction of the three, and then continues in a dash action as it strides. It goes moving all ways towards. Then yells out in Sylvan, "Intruders!" And then raises its gauntlet up left, as if to attack on the next turn. Come to the next one. This one begins to move at a full run with its dash action, the direction of the two of you here, just moving as it runs, crushing into the black stone. And then it goes in with a right strike towards Thea from right to left to hit into the pillar, but it's a dash, so it ends its turn. Felix, you're up next. That one also did not say anything of value to say it was friendly or not.
Feeling like this might be a little bit different. If you can do this for me, I'm going to move to the column on the right side of the screen, cast Blast on Thea Costas and Israel. I'll use the innate casting. If you could do it for me, Michael. I'm sorry, I got a baby in my hands crying.
No, it's fine. So you're doing, you said Thea, Costas,
yeah,
and Israel?
casting of Thea Costas and Israel, and entered.
Okay, and you said you want me to move you?
Yeah, over here. He pinged it.
Gotcha. I'll put on the concentration check on the token. Then remove from innate spell slot. Okay, end of Felix's turn. Israel's up next.
Yep. Just kind of echoing Felix's sentiment. Just kind of looks back at the rest. Yep, I don't think they're responding the same way. And just going to circle around. Side. Start up a blade song. And yeah, we'll also do a false. And that'll do it.
All right, so the false life health should be applied to you, or the temporary Costas, you're up next.
Okay. Costas is going to move right here. Then I'm going to ready an action for if either side takes does something that would damage the other. That would be like these automatons making an attack, or one of us does an attack. Basically, he's just gonna ready an action to attack this one in front of him if any like shots are fired, kind of thing.
Okay.
That would be a two-handed attack with his Warhammer, with Great Weapon Master.
Gotcha. So you're basically saying if there's any sort of fire going on between the sides, I will attack. Okay.
And then enter.
All right. I'll follow you up next.
Yeah. I'm going to. I'm gonna call out towards the stairs. Basically mimic the. We mean no harm. We're just passing by, and I'm going to ready. I'm gonna start moving molasses and ready slow if anyone starts getting attacked. So I'll cast slow centered around this area, so it should hit both targets. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll center myself. Sorry. Move myself a little further, probably more by the stairs. An intern.
All right, Thea, you're up next.
Do it.
He had he had raised his fist as if he was going to attack me.
Swinging from right to left, swinging basically you into the pillar.
All right, I'm gonna bonus action disengage.
All right.
And just back up to 15 feet. That's fine. And again, Say and Sylvan, we mean no harm. We just needed refuge for the night.
Okay.
And I will. No, I'm gonna end my turn. I'm sticking with this.
Okay. Okay. All right, Dirty Joe, you're up next.
I am going to walk up to Felix and cast Protection from Evil and Good.
Yeah, first
And
level.
then just, yeah. And then just say to the large golem, like, hey, bud, I don't know if you understood me. We're looking for a good restaurant. Y'all got any snacks or a larder or something? We've been on our feet all day. We ain't trying to trespass. You know, is there anybody else we can talk to if you're a little shy around newcomers? And that'll be that.
All right, we come to the bottom right. Creature's turn. Creature then begins to look in the direction of Istrel as Istrel is kind of skirting around using their song. They then kind of rotate their attention between the two, grabbing their leg. They energizes, begins to pulsate, and then they shove it down into the ground. As it does that, a wave of energy sprouts forth, exploding and hitting into 3 of you surrounded. Okay. I've got Soren at a 14, which is going to be a failure. I have Costas at a 30. Oh my goodness. And Istrel, what? So Istrel, have you at a 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So Istrel, you have failed, as well as Soren. Both take 35 total points of damage. And Costas, you are able to half that damage down to 17 total points. Trigger, hold actions, go. If you want, I can manually do the save too. So it doesn't target everybody.
It's not for everyone, I'm sorry.
Oh, no!
Super sorry.
That's alright.
Everyone is slowed now.
Yeah.
Just checking. With the new flanking rules, I still flank with Soren, right?
I will describe the flanking rules to you here on the attack. I can tell you right now you don't get the advantage because no one has swung at it yet. So no one has initiated that flank yet, so there's no flank to provide. One of the creatures is befell to the slow, the other one is not.
Chrono shift.
Your reaction was already taken to hold the spell.
Thank you.
Swing comes through, 22 hits. 15 points of bludgeoning damage is dealt. You swing the Warhammer in, shatters some of the crystal off with your swing. Some pieces going to fall off of the left leg. I'm going to go ahead and remove the template of the slow here. Your concentration is successful here. And now I'm going to end the creature's turn. The creature makes no movement, simply just going to slams down the leg, creating that pulse, and then ends. The next one continues to draw its attention between the two, now 3 figures. As it does, it turns and rotates in the direction of Othala, puts itself between, turning itself, goes in for 2 swings of its fist. First swing comes through, slamming down with the natural 1. It's going to cleave into the staircase of the suspension, hit into the pillar. Pillar then crumbles a bit, and then shakes. The bridge kind of rotates and moves. It then goes in for another slam, coming around on the other side. 25 hits into you, Othala. You take 31 total points of bludgeoning damage as it smashes into you towards the black stone into the ground. Your concentration is still successful, maintaining slow, and the other one is you're kind of gripping and holding it outwards. But you're crushed. This is a massive creature with supernatural strength as it comes through, and some of the spikes of its crystal gauntlet puncture into your flesh. Creature then ends its turn. Felix, you're up next.
I'm going to use my bonus action to give universal speech and just to both these creatures show my mark, and that I got from the Norsatra. I'm like, hey, we're supposed to be in here. Where's your boss at?
Okay. I'm going to make a persuasion check. Okay. Australia, you're up next.
Do either of these appear to be moved?
The one in front of you is just slammed down the leg, right? So it's all happening in real time. So the leg kind of slams down.
Yeah.
It's kind of rotating itself a little bit to kind of stand up from that effect. Then the universal speech is coming outwards. The universal speech is in the language of Sylvan, so you are able to coherently understand that. And they are not necessarily turning to that voice or anything quite yet. Not enough time has really passed. We're still in the round. So.
Sure. All right. Would this creature, the size of it, fit inside of a 10-foot radius dome?
If it head structure, yes. So it's more wide and bulky in the shoulders. That's why it occupies the huge space and it is tall. So it actually is like 15 feet tall. It's like its height. So we take about like just.
I would like to try and throw down a wall of force around this one.
Just gonna put a force ball around it.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, we can focus on one at a time.
All I'll do is I'm just going to make a circle here. Just going to put it very loosely where the wall of force is going to come out. That way you don't have to put the template down because the template can get crazy with the wall. I'll have you concentrate on the effect, I believe, here. I'll put the castration effect on. So as you throw out your hand in the direction of that one, the bubble, wall kind of comes through. But again, there's not much to showcase that, right? The wall of force doesn't really have any sort of visualizations, especially with the coloration of what's going on here. So as it comes outwards, kind of springs and shimmers for a brief moment, but after that, nothing else.
Yep. And then I'll just kind of circle around a little further, make a decision which way to face, and then I'll do it.
Okay. Costas, you're up next.
I am going to cast Aura of Vitality.
Okay.
That template just follows me, but I'll place it down anyways. It's asking for it. Actually, no, I managed to skip that. Then I'll use my bonus action to heal Soren.
Okay. Go and roll 2d6.
Yep.
All right, so putting 11 healing to Soren. You notice that Soren, upon licking, Soren is actually crouched down and is not actually in the turn order right now. They're a little bit afraid as they're kind of crouched down. It seems rather odd. They have their hands up towards their head and they're kind of shaking a little left and right.
I'm also gonna yell run and just coming to Soren.
Okay.
And end turn.
Alright, Thal, you're next.
Okay, quick question.
Mhm.
Wall of Force, able not you can't move through it physically, but you can teleport through, right? If I was to use Steel Wind, would I be able, because it says I can teleport, would I be able to teleport through the field and jump out? Because it does say I can teleport to the targets and choose a target to go at, choose the next target to appear next to.
I don't see why not. I think the issue would come into space, depending on which target you decided to have secondary would dictate. So, if you're, I mean, you could very well be stuck inside the wall.
Yeah, you can choose a target. So if I choose two targets and I just choose to, like, let's say I attack this, the
That's what
first
I'm
one
saying.
first.
Just you have to basically say that the other one that's not the Wall of Force would be the one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't see why not. It's just physically pass through. It's a magical teleport. You're basically coming into space, hitting, and then teleporting out.
Just wanted to make sure, because I don't know if it's like you teleport there and then you're physically stuck once you're there.
No, because what's happening is you're like blinking, so you're like teleporting in, you're striking, and then you're teleporting over there, and you're striking, and then you're just not teleporting anywhere else. You're just now physically there. That's
Gotcha.
what it's describing it as. It's it's kind of like a Yasuo League of Legends type thing.
Got it. All right. So what you'll see is, after Othal is just bleeding profusely, probably got a arm broken or something, he'll draw his dagger, and right before he sheaths it, he disappears and attacks both these two, and appears over here.
Okay. Just need you to roll 60-10 for me after we go through a series of strikes, because I think you have to make a melee spell attack.
Yeah, on each target.
Each target, yeah. So start with the first target here. To get that out, 19, that's going to hit. Then 24, 12 points of force damage to the one in the Wall of Force. And then go ahead and attack the other one too. Just be mindful of your spell consumptions. 24 comes through. And then 37 total points of force damage. As you're coming blinking in, shattering a bit of the crystal, then blinking to the other side, shattering some of that crystal. You now can choose 5 feet around the actual token's position where you want to be.
I will move myself over here.
Okay.
And then end turn.
Okay. Ending turn. You're next.
Okay. Well, they punched people now. Did I notice the shimmer of the Wall of Force happening?
Like I said, your observations and direction of the creature, you have been watching the creature, you understand that there is something that has been cast.
That Israel did to it.
I usually roleplay this for friendly party members, that there is some shimmer that something is springing to life. You as a character might not know what a Wall of Force is, though.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, you know that there's magic there, but, like, you don't know what that exactly is. So that's for you really to interpret. I try to be as lenient and as benevolent and nice as I possibly can. But entirely up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I probably don't understand exactly what happened, but I did see that Othala just walked away from that one and it didn't do anything to him.
Okay. We can roll.
So
I think.
I might like just deductive reasoning be like, okay, maybe that one's not a problem right now.
Yeah, but they didn't really walk away from it though. They like blinked into it and then blinked to the other side.
Oh yeah, that's true. But over
like
here I get sneak attack, so that makes more sense to me.
As you go with it, I'm with you. Go with it.
Over there, I get sneak
Yeah.
attack. So I'm moving here just so nobody is in my line of fire. First, I'm going to bonus action insightful fighting this guy.
Okay.
The one inside the wall of force.
Yeah, you're successful. Got a -4.
Okay, but then I am going to fire an arrow at the one that is taking all the damage right now by my party members.
Okay. Natural 1.
Oh, ew.
So as you fire it off, you are aimed a little bit too low. You kind of launch it, skirts into the ground, and then bounces a little bit like sliding through. You kind of hold on to the bow. Just don't have the exact grip after trying to pull the weapon out and then engage in combat from talking.
Yeah, so I'm pissed off, and I'm going to shout into the cavernous room. Call them off! Laura sent us! And that's it. I will end my turn.
Okay. All right, Joe, you're up next.
All right. Well, seeing that it's go time, just move me back by the entrance statue. Target the one on the right that everybody else is chipping away at, and turn on Slayer's Prey and just shoot it twice.
Okay, so go ahead and mark from features. You should be able to mark the bow. Lucas.
The market is where?
You want to go
Oh,
into
features.
features and then click Slayer's Prey. That'll be a bonus action to mark, and then you can fire away. Bow.
Sharpshooter or not?
Definitely not.
Sharpshooter always on. What are you doing?
Yeah, if I don't miss 60% of my shots.
19 hits. That's massive modifiers. Holy cow.
20 dex. Boosh.
19. 7 points of pierce plus the Slayer's Prey, which is 2. 9 total. The creature is resistant to this piercing damage, regardless of it being magical or not. So as it hits in, it only does 4 total points of damage. You're kind of glancing blow instead of puncturing through.
Well, just shoot it again for now. Probably take the short sword out next turn.
Going across 18 will hit as well. No Slayer's Prey on the second strike, so just have the 11. It's 5 total points of piercing damage that is dealt.
Enter.
And yep, that'll do. Thank you.
Okay. Now come to the Guardian. It turns and looks in the direction of Felix and the rest of all of you. Still being attacked somewhat. It just begins to glow brightly as it seems to begin to recover some of its crystallized flesh, almost magnetizing it from the ground as it's chipped off. Then regains 18 total points and removes 1 magical condition that's been placed upon it, i.e. slow. It then, after the recharge, stands tall and looks from left to right, confused. The next one. And the wall, it slowly turns in the direction of Felix. Tilts the head, looks left. There. Tilts right. Makes no attempt to move outside of the wall as it does puts its fist hitting into it. It's touching it. right? So it's not like trying to push through. It's just gonna be like feeling it out. Then comes to Soren. Soren wraps the head around, shaking wildly. Looks around, almost as if out of place and out of time. And hearing the words of Costas, begins to take a disengage and moving roughly 35 feet in a slight gallop with the hoofs, direction away from the fight. Felix, we now come to you. You notice the mark on your hand begins to burn bright. And the fluttering of a creature begins to emerge from the top of the roof of the cavern. Again, this is high up there in terms of its distance, as I described. I'm going to put the creature at about 40 feet into the air as it emerges itself, fluttering down very briefly. Holding the scythe in one hand, it points in the direction of you. There's the mark. Points. Tilts the head to the side as if it's confused. Now we'll prompt anybody continuing with combat.
No.
I'm good.
Nope.
Combat is in. Soren continues their movements, getting behind the statue and distance placed. Moves the scythe to the right. The guardian takes steps backwards. Goes to the one to the left. Turns his attention back to Istriel.
We'll drop it.
Drop the field. Takes 15 feet back towards the pillar. Concentration in.
I will say, the entire time that we are not in combat, I'll be passing heals around to people with the remainder of my healing aura.
Cost as you take a step forward to move, the creature flutters its wings, points the scythe to you. Do not move.
Yeah.
Flutters down 10 more feet. Shadowy figure, horns twisted and turned, blackish wings, the scythe dripping shadow. You. How do you bear that mark?
He was given to us by one of your kin in the North Tower.
For what purpose?
You know, he said it would be safe to you if we had come to these towers. We are gathering resources and allies to defeat Grugash.
What makes you think that I'm an ally?
I didn't see any I heart Grugash signs.
Is that sarcasm?
Sure is.
It's been a long time since I've heard sarcasm.
I can tell. You seem like super uptight, bud.
Creatures, the automatons, are healing, repairing. Why do you wish to slay the Black Dragon?
Because
I
he
mean,
totally
have you-
sucks. He's killing
Yeah,
a
you met
bunch
the
of
guy?
people.
He's a real jerk.
We don't like the corruption, you know, spawn of Orcivis and all.
Something tells me that you do not know What has happened?
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. Did you have something specific in mind there?
The Torque Tower has fell.
Yeah, we probably caused that.
You are responsible.
We ended Lady Kalima, and Grugash came and destroyed the tower to try to kill us. We were able to escape. We're now here.
Right. The corruption yet lingers in my tower. But the Codex is safe. The force at play. Send the congruence to the Shadowfell has been destroyed. My only purpose is to protect the Codex. I can be no ally in your fight against this dragon.
Fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah. So, do you happen to know a creature named Nightwing?
Servant of Orsivis.
Yeah, it's a kind of a pain in our butt. Do you happen to know where it is?
Do not.
I'll, in my mind, ask Thea what she picks up on.
What do I pick up on?
Roll inside, I guess, or
Yeah, I don't think it's. I'm gonna even if I rolled really well, I don't think I'd get anything from it.
The creature is. I mean, there's a lot of charisma here, so you're picking up that they are confused, but they also believe that you all are pointing at a place. You are pulling from a place of past, right? So the creature seems to be looking at you all, and being in the tower perhaps puts you all under an effect that they are able to maybe even probe memories and reflect on that. So, but those are more inferences, right? So it's kind of inferring off of like empathy and other emotional language from some of all. So that's how they're kind of going off of that a sense of familiarity here. But there's a change in state versus what they are now versus what they are then. Because as it's stated, the Codex is here. There was no Soren picking them up.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, it does not seem to know where Nightwing is, and seems very curious that you even know the name of the creature, but then is washed that they've been here, right? It seems that inferences, right, of that something seems familiar to them here. I'll give you that because they're not actively being deceptive. They are showing as much kind of curiosity as you are.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know this creature well enough to pick up on any kind of like personal body cues or vocal cues or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean they are humanoid in shape and figure, and they do have a face that's presented, albeit of shadow and dark. They do have the cues from their former self. And I would say seeing Siltoric as well. I mean, you know what these creatures kind of look like as well. Kind of looking at that, you can kind of see that, like Siltoric through the shadow and the dark.
Okay, I'm going to mentally relay to Felix that what I can infer from this situation, but that I don't have a good read, but it seems like it is being truthful in the sense that the codex is what it cares about.
But we're not particularly interested in your codex, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll be real. We have talked to a version of you before in a different timeline. I know, mind fucked, right? Different timeline. And last time we were here, well, in that timeline, you tested us by letting Nightwing attack us when we slept. So that's why I was asking about it. But it seems like you don't know anything about it, and you're just cool hanging out guarding your codex. So I don't know that there's much that we can do for each other here.
Ostis is staring at Thea to see if she gives him a death stare.
I would assume with a 20, what is it? A 23 passive perception, I notice this intent look from Costas from across the room.
I would say Costas isn't very.
He's not very subtle.
Yeah, Costas is very subtle. So. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, no death stare, but I am looking at you like, why the fuck are you looking at me? What are you planning in your What are you planning in your head that you think I would be disappointed about?
Joe pipes up real quick. Hey, there's one thing that maybe we could help each other out on. Could we sleep in your foyer here tonight? You got some nice enclosed walls, and we'll make sure that any riffraff or undead that try to creep in get dealt with. Eh? Nice and dry in here.
The voice of Orcivis has been lost. Nightwing has severed their connection. They do not serve Orcivis anymore. There is only one that remains. Power. That is the Black Dragon. You are more than welcome to stay. You are not permitted. Go upstairs.
Well, it's
Fair enough,
mighty
thank you.
hospitable.
The Guardians will watch over you. It's the flutter disappearing through the ceiling.
Through the mind link to Joe. Just because, again, past timeline, Soren was the one stealing the codexes. And he's got sticky fingers, I think. And he's sketchy as fuck to me. To Joe, I'm just saying, we keep an eye on him, because he might ruin this for us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's all take watch, everybody, I say out loud. And then over to Anna. Yeah, let's you and me, we'll keep an eye on him while everybody else is sleeping. I don't mind taking a double shift just to make sure he doesn't bring the whole ceiling down on us.
See as the Guardians begin to move, one in front of the staircase, the other to the side, slanted turns. As they begin to posture themselves, turning, shaking around as they move, they simply kind of fall a little bit in the knee joints and then stop moving. Just become stationary. Your aura here, Costas, is still up for a period before the time has allotted, so I just assuming you want to pump out heals to people with that aura if you wanted to.
Yeah, mainly I'll go from order from people lowest health to highest.
Okay, so we got an aura vitality here. It's going to last for 1 minute. You only used it one time, so you have that series of 2d6. You can go ahead and just roll those out flat, and then we can just divide the healing up.
So that would be 18d6?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is going to be plenty enough to bring people up. But...
Yeah, I think that's overkill.
Ooh. It's a lot of ones and twos. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. All right, so 57 total. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm down 30, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You can.
I'll let you
Okay,
okay,
so-
Costa say you want it.
Soren's down pretty far too.
Yeah, Soren's pretty
Let's
down.
give Othala 25. Split the rest between me and Soren evenly. The 25 to him. That leaves me with
So 16.
32.
16,
so-
16, and 25.
Yeah.
Do you want the 25 to go where?
Othala.
And then you're putting the 16 to Soren?
No, not Soren. Istrio.
I heard you the first time. I was just joking. I'm just gonna. I'm looking at your face because you were like number crunching there for a minute. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna mess these looks. I'm so sorry.
Because part of me was like, I could have said Soren because on accident.
No,
so-
you said the right things. You add those hit points to yourselves manually. No worries there. 25, 16, 16. And then at that point, the Slayer's Prey, we'll get that off. That. Then I'll end your concentration for the aura. Soren at this stage is just kind of clutch themselves around the statue, looking around, and as soon as things are kind of simmering down, they kind of turn. Oh my goodness, that was.
What exactly got into you there? You fought in wars.
I don't know. I can't explain it. Trauma, maybe? Maybe it's just the strife with the dragon and the bad creatures brought me back into the woods. Oh, I'll shake it off. I'll be fine.
Yeah, do I believe what he's saying right now? Because I've been with him for a little bit, and I've been studying him the entire time he's been with us.
Roll it.
Um,
Seems
I
as
would
though.
also.
Or...
Oh, wait.
No, go.
Okay. I would also. Costas would also like to kind of see what's up with Soren, but he's more checking to see if he's like anything's wrong, if he's okay, unless if he's got evil intentions.
So are you trying to insight or are you trying to medicine? Like
We're going to do
physical or-
insight. He's looking more mental.
Okay,
Oh.
mental picture. Okay, roll another insight check. I would probably say insight's the most skill, the most used skill in this party.
It's like
We
my
do
whole
like to know
shtick.
things.
It's my
That
whole
is my
stick.
shtick.
I rolled the skill every day. 24 and 18. Both of you are able to understand that Soren did overcome some sort of traumatic experience in that brief moment of combat. It's unclear to you, Costas, if that experience was traumatic from what they had just described. It's clear to you that they're plagued by some trouble from their mind.
Well, hey, Soren, what exactly did you do in the army, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, for the Temerian military? Well, I was a little bit of an artifact collector. Worked with the Kunda, obviously soldiers, and then there was Arrakis, naval, right? So sailed to different islands, exploring temples, especially some of those that were vacant of the Krikos archipelago. Some of them hold many different elemental temples. There's things in there of great value, especially to the Temerians. I fought a few times, different creatures and things, but I was a little bit. I liked the peace, no reason to harm any native inhabitants. And when we came across the Hanunza collective, the actual military of the archipelago, they're humans. Some of those worship really particularly want to get engagements with them. Not at war by any means, but they want to find each other at the same island.
You know what, Soren? Oh, no, you're not done. Okay.
No, I was just gonna say. That's it. So you were a professional looter, if I'm reading that right? Extracting resources for the good of your nation.
I don't know if I would really say it was professional looting. I would definitely say it was more of finding the value in things that needed to be preserved and not lost to time.
Preserved by you and not by anybody else that happened to be in the area?
Well, no, it just happened to be that we would take them to either the noble houses of Elion, if they were finding there was prize there, or the many different schools within the Temerian continent. I mean, it could even wind up in Israel and I's magic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Look, I'm quite all right now. The moment has passed. Seems like you all want to stay here and get some rest. These crystallized constructs are very, dare I say, ingenious?
Yeah, they certainly are. Also kind of mean, so do yourself a favor and try not to stuff them into a bag or anything. I don't think they'll travel well.
No, I don't think I'd do that. I'm curious to see how they function, but it seems that we're humble guests here, and we shouldn't cause any sort of issues, so I will stay away, keep to myself. Play the
You know what else you
Agreed.
should stay away from? You should also stay away from the door. Because last time we were in the tower, that's how the Nightwing got in.
Oh, the creature. Well, yes, well, that'd be a good idea. Come over here, skirts to the side, flanking on the hoofs.
You know what, Soren? Since you've been wanting to, give us the pleasure of your music for multiple days now, this is our first time that we kind of have a roof over our head. So, I mean, don't do anything too loud, but maybe if you want to do something, I won't object
A
personally.
performance! Yes!
If you want to put it that way.
Is that all right? Is it okay if I perform? I mean, I'm not sure.
Actually, yeah, I do like your plan. I'll whip up together some kind of a I don't know, banquet is maybe a large or a inappropriate term. I don't know how we're doing on fancy rations, but yeah, I'll whip up some grubs from everybody. You play us through dinner, and then I'll join you for an after dinner duet. How's that sound?
All right, sounds. Goes in between towards the pillar, leans on it, pulls out the dulcimer, begins to give a performance.
Costas can do a bit of dancing and just hanging out, people.
Plucking away on the
Set up
strings,
a-
enjoying
at the
himself.
Door.
Okay.
Actually, Calstus, I need you to come here and help chop some carrots for me.
Sure. So, Joe, need help with carrots?
Oh yeah. No, you did express interest a while back in learning the finer arts of self-sufficiency and, roughing it in the wild. So, we don't have any personal chefs or footmen around here to attend to our needs. So, yep, you're on chopping duty.
Sure. Costas holds the knife like a sword for a little bit while trying to chop.
And we do not smite the onions. We decisively but controlledly chop the onions.
Costas, once seeing that you pick out one of the onions and you look, there's a little bit of spoilage, just a tiny bit of black on one of the sides, and your immediate mind goes, it's corrupted, desecrated onion.
He'd use his divine sense on the onions.
Oh God.
You look at it, doesn't seem to be unholy.
I would like to use 5 points of my kind of lay on hands thing to see if I can bring the onion back to full.
You're gonna heal the onion.
You touch the onion and remove one condition. You can see that the small bit of blight is gone. It's now perfect.
Don't worry, these onions will be super fresh.
Stop bewitching my onions. I don't know what kind of weird godly juju magumbo you're putting into them, but it's going to make them taste funny. Just cut that bit off and keep chopping.
Okay. I would say I was making it taste unfunny, but yes.
No, it just, a little funky as to the flavor. And yes, we continue to make dinner.
Okay. You mean to continue to kind of chop and cut away, or are you just going to make a campfire in here to cook it out?
Yeah, might as well.
All right.
Are we worried
Gonna
about...
mutter to myself like, man, I kind of wish Reg was still here. That man was a damn fine cook.
One thing, are we worried about how the smoke is gonna get out of the building? Or...
Pretty big building, not a big
It's
campfire.
Okay.
Before
roll credits. TDK simulation. Everyone's...
and thus we all die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Just everyone, literally, everyone's like, "All right, let's go to sleep, everybody." This is not what wakes up.
Forever sleep.
Okay, roll new character.
No, this tower is massive. There's multiple levels here. This little fire is not going to produce enough smoke to fill in the space. Besides, all it's going to do is go up to the top level and probably annoy the more Satra person. There is an opening up there too to the outside, so technically the smoke has a way to get out.
Okay.
Right.
As Istriel is walking, I guess, toward where Soren is, I'm going to, through the mental link only to her, say, so did you engage in any state-sponsored thievery, or is it just your friend?
Without looking back towards Theo, we'll just pause a moment and say, my business in the military was of the more bloody sort. And continue.
I can respect that.
Are these golems seem like they're watching us?
Roll perception.
I since I've been watching it for a while, can I give myself guidance to just
Sure.
keep my all right? Let's see. Do.
I just heard the sound effect for guidance. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. D4
Yeah, you roll the d4 to put it on you.
and a 1, 20.
20. So you're kind of looking at one by the stairs. You can definitely see as you watch it that it's slowly moving its head and these tiniest of movements and just focusing its center of attention.
All right. We are definitely being watched. I don't know if the Morsatra here is looking through, but keep a keen eye out. Might not have been truthful about not knowing Nightwing or anything. Still might be planning something. I'm also, while noticing that, I'm gonna try to hide behind Gio a little bit and cause this conversation, cast guidance again, and try to stealth my way towards the door and do it like drop the silver thread stealthily down as I'm walking, just like place the thread by my leg and let it fall so I can start ritually casting alarm. I'm just gonna let it fall and then stand behind Costas and Joe and just hold the thread and let it finish while they're talking and cooking.
Okay. So Istriel already used the alarm spell, so there's a threat.
Oh, all right.
So you're like,
all right.
you
Yeah,
can do two. I mean, do one high, one
I'll
low.
try.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
definitely.
Yeah, use one up
I'll
high,
try to
right?
do another one. Yeah,
throw
I'll
it up
try to do
high,
another one.
An area where you think it might flutter in through the doors.
Mhm.
Alarm, just in case.
Definitely. Try it again.
Wizards for life. This book.
Doubling up. Yeah. So when stealth check again. All right.
Yeah, if you're trying to be stealthy about it, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a d4.
Not the stealthiest.
Yeah, so 10, you're basically beginning to move to use the alarm and then running the thread, and you're sure it's not looking at you, and then you get it out there and you're going to turn. As you're walking back, it slowly is like lifted its head. It's like staring at you.
Okay. I will sit and perch and start reading Freemar's book with my time.
Sounds good. Anybody else doing anything in particular? Obviously, Sora's playing with the dulcimer, just enjoying themselves.
Not initially, but after everything dies down, I'm gonna just try and chit chat with Sword a bit while also helping him fill in his spell book. See if maybe we could find out what exactly is going on.
Okay. You're working on a particular spell or something. Oh, what do you got for me, Istra?
Well, actually, I picked up this one. Maybe you could use it. Actually, quite recently. I'm just gonna show him Fortune's favor.
Fortune's favor. Well, it'd be good to have. It's to work on it. Copying it down from yours to theirs. Obviously, take some time, right? So they're just slowly in the process of doing that, working with you alongside, taking the paper and stuff, transcribing it to the spellbook that you provided them. Obviously, there's not all of their spells in there, so they're still at work themselves based on what they have previous knowledge to get back into the spellbook.
Right. Well, I know it's been a while since we've actually talked, but I hope everything's okay with you and you don't feel like you can't say anything.
Oh, it's
bother you.
fine. I mean, there's not really much more to say beyond what. I don't know. It seems like our paths just went separate ways. Honestly, very just surprised. I guess I couldn't put it past you to come chase after me.
Well, I'm just glad you're alive, and hopefully we end up alive after all this is over.
Yes. Can you imagine what it's going to look like after this? This place? Think it'll change back? We can go to the Feywild.
I hope we can achieve that.
What are you going to do after this, though? Really? You going to stay with them?
I'm not sure. But you know how
Right.
it goes? We need to take things a day at a time. Again, we're not assured that we're going to be alive tomorrow. We're facing off against whatever giant dragon.
Yes, well. If anybody can do it, you can. You're always the better of the two.
It's maybe between you and I. There's a lot of things that happened in the military that I don't look back on too fondly.
Past
In
is the
your head, you
past.
just hear like what?
But this is a new chapter for both of us, right? We both-
Yes. A new chapter. That's right. You know, if you maybe we could make another shop. Obviously, we're not welcome back into Maria at this point.
Yeah, I don't see us getting back there anytime soon.
Maybe form a shop, perhaps a guild. We can get some people to head to the shop, and maybe we can recover the items if they haven't been repossessed by the noble houses, and we can get them into a new shop. We can pick up where we left off.
Wouldn't be opposed to that potentially.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of things up here. Foreign, new.
Yes, a lot of opportunities. New land.
All right.
Is the stew? What are you making a stew over there?
I think so.
Is it ready yet?
I don't think so.
Ooh. No. I'm making shish kebabs.
Does anybody have a flask, perhaps, a liquor, or an ale, anything to drink?
No, I ran out to give the rest of mine to Felix after he rescued your ass. He definitely earned the last of my booze.
Well,
It's all gone, but sorry.
that's unfortunate.
Well deserved, my friend.
I suppose just a mock cheer then, huh? Istria, mock cheer? To us, to you all, new friends, new companions.
Here, to still being alive.
Yes, still alive. One day at a time.
Hmm. Let's hope we last at least another day.
At least. Oh, come on, man. I mean, we're facing some crazy shit, but we've already come through so much. I think we're going to be all right.
You guys
Well,
want to like share
relatively.
stories or something? I don't know. I've always wanted to know what's going on in your backstory, but there's lots that we've been together so long we haven't really like talked about each other's past. Yeah, let's. We have a fire. We have food. We have possibly some serenades. Come on.
Justice, are you trying to get to know us?
Oh, I know. It's a crime, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, I do say for that one points towards you there that would be a crime, I'd imagine.
I just smile at him. I was actually going to ask DM.
Yeah.
When they were talking about not being welcome back in Temeria because of, obviously, I'm going to guess, desertion from the military.
Is that what you
Would
were wondering, if it's desertion or not? Or is it
no,
something
I was
specific?
wondering if the organization I worked for with ever took jobs from, let's say, noble houses, or to like hunt down these people who potentially deserted.
So you're saying, would you potentially be, if you're affiliated with them, would the individuals that you have affiliation with, they show up in attempting to hunt them?
Potentially.
I would say perhaps on continent that would
Mhm.
be a thing. I would say off continent it becomes more of an international, having representation for Temerians is crucial to other places. One thing the Temerians are not, uh, they do not like their business to spill over, and so if it did happen to spill over, they would want to make sure that all the ends were sealed. They would not send you individuals unless because you're not necessarily like government, relevant in terms of the government. You're more of like hired hands, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think that you and affiliates would be sent unless it was something that they just completely did not want to be made aware to the public. But there is a name that Soren had dropped a little bit from their story in terms of a group that would be affiliated, perhaps, with hunting them down and chasing them. Not gonna. The name doesn't mean anything to you because there's nothing in your backstory for that name, but you would know them as the next step up. So they are servants of Elion, essentially a guard of sorts. They are above that of a normal soldier, and they have potent capabilities. They usually are sent tasks such as this to go international and hunt, but it's mainly to capture prisoners. So if prisoners escape, and there's these other things, they'll send them out to fetch those. Based on what you overheard here, they're not prisoners.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
As far as stories go, Costas, I imagine you have some rather interesting ones, growing up rich and all and being known as kind of a wild child around town. What's, what are some of the nuttier things you've gotten caught for in your time?
Oh my. Gotten caught for, not just done, gotten caught.
Well, I mean, you don't exactly seem subtle, and everybody seems to already know your reputation, so, yeah, I imagine you get found out rather often.
My reputation was more because I was unusual by paladin standards. You don't often see paladins, especially ones of my family standing, going around drinking at bars trying to become an adventurer.
Do you
So
think
that
that
was
at
that was
bars make you an adventurer?
oh I didn't think it did, but I had
Neat.
hopes. Maybe one day, but yeah, it's I mean, actually, I suppose now I am, but wow. Anyway, yeah, as far as anything that would actually be considered an escapade by this group's standards, I think I might be rather light on stories, since again, most of my reputation for being the kind of problem child is more because of kind of just how unexpected it is, considering my background. It's not, I didn't exactly go around beating people up in the streets or anything. I mean,
Beating people on the. No, I was more just talking about crazy stuff like, getting hammered, jumping off of a third-story building, and then falling
oh, that
asleep in a
happened
bed.
all,
Kind of
that
thing.
happened all the time. That's fine. Oh, okay, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, that happened a lot. Oh man,
Is Othema really that straight-laced that teenagers drinking is that unusual?
Well, it's not that. It's more, just a morning light. Fucking the son of the bloody paladin. The fucking just goes around drinking at bars with fruity whiskey. It's really,
Are
it's a
the
bit of a story.
are the other rich kids from your town not prone to do that kind of thing? Because I don't
I
know.
mean,
Usually the
it was
privileged
nice.
kids are the most troublesome.
Well, I mean, they
Is
do
my
stuff. It's usually like in a more high-end bar than me, and fucking doesn't. If you talk about it, you don't exactly see tomorrow. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm just saying mine was a lot more public than most people's, and again, paladin, which also contributes to it. I mean, not
Oh, so you
entirely.
were just slumming it then,
Well, I
rather
mean,
than being all hoity-toity about your troublemaking.
yeah. Another member of a rich family, they pass out in like a vineyard off in the countryside. I pass out on the streets, laying in a big pile with some guards.
You see, the way I see it, Costas knows who he is, and he's just not afraid to show it.
I mean,
Oh, he
I'm-
certainly is not.
He certainly is not.
Well, fair enough.
So you're
It's
telling me that you are a noble-birthed paladin from a very wealthy and vibrant family. I can see the different cultures blended, and you drink. Because
I'm trying to stop. Trying. I mean,
yes, well, I mean, there's no reason to stop drinking. But you're pulled to the adventuring life
Mhm.
for
Or what reasons that we're trying to say?
yes.
Or
What drives your heart beyond just I want to be an adventurer? I have this family. I'm quite curious.
uh, well, I don't want to talk too much about me. There's quite a few people at the campfire.
No,
But
no, no. You're the one who wanted to know about us and our
uh,
stories, and
okay,
obviously
fine,
Istriel
fine.
and I have shared some of it. I mean, you're able to overhear, and obviously Thea is going to share none of it, and that's notable. And I guarantee you, Felix has something to say. And we all know
Yeah.
Athala is a traveler of sorts. I mean, what drives your heart, Costas?
I mean, it all seems naive now, but uh, you know, uh, grew up hearing stories of adventurers. Not just at the tavern when I got to the age where I could be in the tavern or look like I should be in the tavern. But just my father. He was a theater actor. He was. I mean, he did so much with storytelling, sculpture, basically anything artistic. He was into it. And he always had a bit of a flair for the dramatic as well as a appreciation for people with good stories. So I heard a lot of good stories. I grew up on them. Then, you get old enough to, again, look like you're meant to be in the tavern. You sneak in, you hear some stories from the guards, you have a few of your own, but honestly, none that impressive. I mean, my title, The Knight of the Dawn, it comes from being with a horse until morning. I didn't do anything cool. I mean, it was a bit notable. But again, I didn't do anything cool. It's not like I freaking killed a troll like covered in blood and then climbed up a mountain or something. I kind of just again most of my life was just like a paladin. It was kind of boring. So you hear
Boring.
stories. Yeah.
Your life was boring, and you wanted to see the rolling hills of adventure. So you're romantic.
I have been called that, but that's I would say that's after getting zapped a few times, the romanticism starts to fade, but I still hope to maybe do one or two.
But you're true of
good
heart.
stories.
Yes?
True of the heart. Do elaborate.
So, as a paladin should, and you are guided by some oath. And it seems you are quite romantic and you are true of heart. You
I
see
would
what I'm
say
saying?
so. I don't think
Yes?
I don't think I've ever violated my oath. I mean,
Mm.
based on the fact that I still my beliefs.
No, not violating your oath. Listen. Oh, sees Soren puts in the book and just kind of walks over to you, clapping the hoofs. Puts a hand under your shoulder, kneels down. Right here! Points towards your heart. Through you are, yes? Guided?
I would say so. I mean, it's guided me off cliffs, but it has guided me.
Then you'll be fine. You picked the right life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He starts to
If-
tear up a little bit. He's
If
trying to hide
anyone
it.
can speak, it's letting go of the past, where you come from. It's what you make of yourself. That right is true. We made a lot for ourselves. Highborn
Well-
status, magic shop that was reveled in all of the capital, the Republic.
Considering the bare bones we started with, definitely.
Yes. Speechless.
Cautious is kind of covering his face a little bit.
You're the one who wanted to talk about your story.
No, yeah. I'm. Why don't we have someone else go? This is.
No one has to talk. It's obviously the one who wanted is done.
Yeah, I mean,
More than welcome to share more of my story if you all want.
Well, by all means, entertain us. You're good at that.
Well, I will say that in the earlier days, to make some extra profit, I did happen to play some performance in an underground bar, one of the Noble House universities underneath the library. There happened to be a hidden establishment. Some of the students would like to let loose for a little bit, and the coin did indeed flow. What was swayed just very early on of perhaps becoming a bard. Let me tell you, it was very close. But I kept my brow firm, and I pushed forward to other avenues of magic and explored what could be, given the well studies. The end result of this tale was that anything is possible. Anything can happen. I'm sorry, I guess that wasn't as entertaining as I thought it would be. Sorry. It's been a long journey for me.
And for all of us. Yeah, anything is certainly possible, as I'm finding out by the day. Man, this is I just came over here for trophy hunting, and we're now wrapped up in alternate timeline hopping and some kind of space wizards, and man, reality is a lot more complicated than I first thought when I set out on my adventuring. Not necessarily in a good way, but I mean, I was curious, and that curiosity is being sated, even if I am a bit overwhelmed at things. But at the end of the day, I guess I'd rather be in the thick of things and figuring all this out, taking all life has to throw at me, than, well, just being rather bored back at home. You can only hunt so many pigs before they all kind of look the same after a while.
Well said, well spoken. And the stew, my man, is delicious. Nice work, you two.
Kebabs.
Kebabs.
Not Steve.
Yes. Kebabs. Nice kebabs.
Yeah, I may have picked a few things up off of Regmore. That man was a genius in the kitchen.
I miss his cooking.
Indeed.
Another companion of yours?
Yeah, he helped us out up north a bit. It was, well, a bit rash in his decision making, but he did seem to have a weird knack for getting things done because of that.
And he made a mean food.
Oh man, something else. I've never had cooking like his.
Wow, this sounds like an absolute delight, and I would like to meet this Regmore.
Well, wherever he may be,
Hmm.
he tends to move around a lot. Who knows where he is? I don't really keep in touch anymore. But yeah,
What
cool
is
guy.
What is Soren's like body type? Would Regmore consider him skinny?
Yes.
Oh, don't worry, you would be fast friends.
Quick friends. Well,
Mostly because he would think that someone was starving you.
oh, yes. I see. Mm.
Do you? I'm going to try to do an insight check to see if he actually understands what they are saying.
Passively, you know they're lying. There is heavy sarcasm. Well,
Yeah, I'm curious, Soren. Is there when you say you deal in exquisite artifacts and all stuff like that, what's the most mind-boggling thing you've come across?
the most mind-boggling thing I've come across. Well, there's not many things that boggle my mind. Obviously, the last weeks have pushed that boundary quite heavily. But an artifact or trinket or magical item, there was a particular ring that was quite curious. Had some powers to shield the mind. And as I tapped into the magic of this ring and I studied it, there was a soul, a mind that was actually inside of it. Really not. And this individual had been in this ring for thousands, not thousands of years. Had a very interesting conversation with them. They spoke as if they were human, and I think they were in a former life, and that they actually were a slave to elementals.
That's terrifying.
Oh,
I hope I
indeed.
never end up in somebody's doodad.
Well, I asked them if they wish themselves to be released. I could dispel the magic and put their spirit or their soul back to whatever plane they wish to put it to rest. And surely they wanted it, of course. Just been waiting for someone to find this thing. I did just that.
You dispelled the magic.
Yes, I removed what grasp or hold had onto the soul of the mind.
Do you have any idea how they possibly put a soul inside of a ring?
Soren, you said you spoke to this soul. You said they were enslaved by elementals. Anything specifically, or were they just leisurely conversations?
It was very leisure. Obviously, being in a ring trapped for so long, their mind was quite broken. So they had repetitive phrasing, and they were lost in many of the things that I was saying. The world had changed. Interestingly, they were constructing the very temple, the ziggurat, that I was investigating, looking through the archaeological sites of this place, and they had built this up as a means for elementals to live, to stay, maybe to reinvigorate themselves. There was purpose this human had stated these elementals were here for, and it was something to do with dragons, which I thought was quite remarkable. They didn't know so much. It was they were a slave, put to the task.
And why were you investigating this ziggurat?
Oh, as I stated, there was many islands that are linked to the Krikos archipelago, and many of them are spaced and far between the seas and the oceans. And it was our exploration duties to investigate the islands, look for base of operations from the collective, the Hanutsu collective, and see if they had anything established, and then look through these ziggurats, these temples, for any clues or signs that they would be constructed, or even collecting the magical items to retrieve and return home. As someone of magical study and of wealth with the shop, I would be quite interested in some of the tales that these told. And it was not that I took every item. I do want to add, I wasn't just stealing and robbing some crypt stowed away, or some tome of some great leader or chieftain that was buried underneath. It was more or less learning and studying these places to understand them and to construct maps of why they've been put in place. It does seem that they are connected to what the Hanunza Collective are holding dear on the middle of their archipelago, which is a congruence, which is what caught my fancy to the congruence that once existed, or the bridge anyways, in Temeria.
Do you have any idea where this congruence led?
Well, what I can tell you from some of the sailors that we encountered with the collective is that it is a congruence to the elemental planes. But it is one way. That nothing necessarily can go in it. Only those can come out.
So
Nothing has come out for centuries. 1 century.
Is this area under Temerian restriction?
No. The Hanunza Collective is very advanced compared to other civilizations in this world. They hold themselves to secrecy, and there are traders and ships that will go to their ports, and they are not necessarily allowed to stay for very long, and they're also kept within specific districts and quarters, not able to go into the 3 main isles that cities exist on. There are other places that you can land ashore and get on, but they patrol the waters quite heavily. So, as you can see, a Temerian warship nearby their waters would cause quite a bit of problem. And as I stated, sometimes we would land on these larger islands that were many, many miles away from the main archipelago, and we would encounter them. They would be on shore on the other side, just simply did not see them. They were resupplying, and there was a mutual beneficiary. We both want to get supplies, fresh fruits, and other things on the islands, and we don't want to cause conflict between our 2 great people, so...
Wait,
Would you be-
the what collective?
The Hanunza Collective.
You mentioned
And whereabouts was this place?
Fracas.
Yeah, could you show us on the map? Would you be opposed to pinpointing it exactly?
The world? It's an archipelago, like a place in the world. So
But we know where the ziggurat and everything is exactly, so we wouldn't have to like travel
No.
through any.
We don't have a map of the world. We
You don't have a
of-
map.
Oh, so it's not the world. Yeah, we only have.
Yeah, this is a world thing. So, Sora is just communicating what their part of the military is. The terms of where Krikos is in relevance to this continent. You can get a description of the place in the actual journal notes. So that's in the introduction binder now, so you can actually read that. It is in the heart of the Mirth Ocean, and then if you look at the continent map of Eartheria, if you cycle there, you can actually see there's a label for the Mirth Ocean. So it exists east and south for many, many miles. It's very far away in terms of distance in this ocean. So the planet's not very large, obviously, but it's still a significant portion in distance. So yeah, there is information on that. You can always get a little bit of reading in if you want to take the time, but the document's also a Discord as well.
You said that they sent traders around. Like, do they go everywhere, or just Temeria? Did some kind of Eartheria at some point?
Yeah, no, there are traders that come from the collective, and they go out and they sell and buy wares, and they come back. But they're, again, it is kept, not only is it a governmental type thing, law, but also it is by the people. They have grew up and developed in an isolated kind of specific thing. So they all are on board with maintaining this secrecy, and the information is it's not like it's hidden information. Okay, so like if you studied on Krikos, this stuff you would uncover this, right? But this is ancient history, so this stuff is like more than thousands and thousands and thousands of years. In fact, it's so old that there's not really a documented time of it. It's just that it's happened. And so the collective is built on the foundation of ensuring that whatever happened in the past does not happen again. So that's why they have this secrecy. They don't really allow outsiders to just roam the islands in the main archipelago. So an archipelago is a chain of islands, and it usually has a center. It's centered around a sea or something that connects them, right? Reef or other system. So what Soren is saying is that they, in the waters around, there's some of the volcanic activity that spews out away from the archipelago, so it's now unchained. And these islands can get quite large or some small, and they do contain ziggurats or temples, which have some connection to this event that transpired, particularly of the elementals coming to this plane through the elemental congruence. And so it's of importance of study, right, for the Temerians to also chart if the collective is beginning to spread out into international waters and other islands, but also to document this stuff, because as the collective is the same way, there's an interest in magic and power. Temerians have showcased that with Elion in terms of what they have. So this is just worldwide kind of things, not necessarily anything that's impeding or affecting you all of any kind at the present moment. It's really just Soren talking about who they are, where they come from.
Soren, this crickets.
Great. I love it.
Like, do they allow, like, is there a way to visit or like talk to a diplomatic envoy of some kind, or is it full, or did they just sell their things and leave? Like,
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not from this. I don't know anything about really the content of Arthuria besides this place that I've studied. I'd imagine that the collective sends emissaries at times to other governments and things, but I'm no politician, so.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Like you all have
anyone else?
quite a bit of interest in my story or Krikos in general. So, yeah. Anybody else? Anybody? I do want to add, I'm not from the collective. I'm not from the archipelago. I'm from Temeria. I do want to state that for the record.
Well, fair enough. That just seems awfully relevant to our current predicament and all the things we're dealing with. So it's quite the fortunate happenstance that you came across that kind of thing. And you said one way only out of the elemental plane?
That is what they believe. Now, I do not know that for truth. All I can state is that nothing is able to be bridged through and nothing comes out. It is their worry that this is why the preparations, they've done a great deal of research as well as building up their navy, because they are in preparation that if something was to come out, they want to be forefront of defense. This is really at the heart of their ideal. So we as Temerians in the military, we don't have to stop that, because that's a good thing for the world, right? But we also are curious to see what kind of magic it possesses, as well as harnessing it. And fortunately, they're not exactly the most welcoming to having outsiders and other people come in and stuff. You must have
said
a specific connection.
You said that they're building up their navy to defend against something if it were to come out. Does that mean that it is the congruence is somewhere in the water or on an
Yes.
island too small for?
It is in the sea that surrounds the heart. It is the heart of the archipelago. The islands surround it, particularly the 3 main islands. This
Okay,
all
enough
is
stuff.
this is all in the brief of the world's. If you do want to take the time to know, you can read it. It's yeah. Just loving. You know what?
Read the lore.
Let's just go right on to campaign something, some number. We're just gonna go all the way. We're gonna go over there. I love it. It's great.
We have homework.
Not like this is exciting of any kind, right?
This is completely off topic, but is there any difference between a kebab and a stew besides that the stick is wider than the stew?
I mean, that's
There's the
kind of a big
broth.
difference
The
right
stew,
there.
the stew's the
Yeah.
broth, right? There's a broth.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the kebab thing. I missed that. So.
Okay.
That's
Also,
quite all right.
Lucas, why are you so interested? You actually have this document before. Your Zell came from Krikos.
That's a,
I'm still on the stew. because one is boiled and the other is grilled, but there's so many differences. But all right.
Not necessarily, because the stew can start off with you like actually searing the meat. So
Yeah, but it still becomes a broil.
Yeah,
if
there's
it's
something
in the
like how
raw.
they're both food.
I love it.
but no, it's the Krikos thing. Is that I have it, but Costas doesn't.
No, Casas would not. I mean, you
Exactly.
as a noble would. I mean, you might have some inclination that Krikos exists in politics, right? Political land, but you as a character would have no interest in what is happening.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't know anything, so it's normal for him to ask these questions. I know a bit more about Krikos than anyone else here besides you, but that's
No, but my intentions are: what does Casas have with being interested in Krikos?
the congruence of the elemental planes.
That's what you're interested in.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
We were
And
told
so you-
elementals could be our next. Could tell us, give us answers. He wants to know about the congruence.
but Soren has literally stated that they're not from the collective.
I mean, he knows more about it than pretty much anyone
Sure.
we're gonna meet until we get to like an envoy from Krikos or something. It's
Sure,
a good place to
sure.
start.
I'm trying to get the train of thought here. I'm trying to get the train of thought because we've been on the train for like I think 10 minutes of real time now, 15 minutes maybe.
I mean,
So-
that's the thing. Again, he sends out. There's very few people who know anything. So, well, he might not be from there, but people from there are incredibly secretive. There's very
Yeah.
few of them, like in Arthuria. Like, he's our
Sure.
best bet right now for like
Gotcha.
the foreseeable
I'm
future.
with you. I'm with you there, Lucas. I'm just trying to see where we're going with the thought train. That's all.
I'm done. Okay, stew versus kebab. Let's go.
It's a stew. It's
A
kebab,
stew,
man. It's
A stew.
Kebab.
Skebab.
It's kebab. Oh, that's a good one.
So hey, Soren, I'm curious. Did that ring whisper anything to you about 3 rings to the elf lords, wisest and fairest of them all, 7 rings to the dwarves, great minds and workers under the mountain, something like that?
You know what's really interesting about that you say that? There's actually a bardic trope known as the Valley that is putting on a performance known as the Lord of the Rings. And, well, I came across them on the road travel from Beelder, so that is astounding that you know that. That's one of the things in their play, apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's a wide-reaching tale. I heard something about it in a pub once back home. Rang a bell.
Yeah, so I imagine it's a copied over play. I'm sure the Valley didn't write it themselves, but yeah, if you're ever interested in checking them out, I think they're heading to Rivera in the south of here.
Would that take a long time to watch the play? You know, like maybe 3 sittings or something.
At least.
Oh, they were playing in the theater in Beelder for I think say at least 3-4 months. Of course, that series of intermissions, day-long performance.
Man, that's True. Like that's an entire engagement for a month. You just need to go there for every day, all day. That's some people have too much time on their hands. I mean, I used to be one of those people, so I don't get to judge, but still.
I mean, come on, you must have all kinds of fancy theaters where you're from. Like, we were back home, we were overjoyed when we had like a bunch of traveling playwrights coming through. You know, it was a solid week to get away from the boredom of, running logging operations and stuff.
Well, I mean, I was raised by a playwright. I practically, I heard practically too much of him, and honestly, he was only decent.
Wait, a playwright? I thought your dad was a sculptor.
I said he was interested in a lot of different things. Again, he's a noble. He has basically as much money as he needs. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can do it.
I find it interesting that your mother chose your father.
That's the story for another time. It took a few months of desperate.
Only a few months, really.
Wait, now I'm curious. Which one pursued which? Because your mom seems like the type that will fix her eyes on something and then slaughter anybody in her way in order to get it.
A dog with a bone.
Honestly, I could see that, but nah, it was more of a imagine like trying to get the attention of a rock. That's basically what my dad did.
I mean, I've tried that before, but I was really, really high. I don't know how you could draw parallels between the two.
Well,
You get the attention of the rock.
Oh, I did not get the attention of the rock. No, didn't work.
Like a rock, and I like point to like the walls and the pillars, or like a rock, and I mimic flapping.
I mean like a rock, like the one that can't like move at all or won't respond to you in any way. It took a lot.
Yeah, no, it was on the side of a river.
Yeah, it took a while to like get any response at all. Anyway, this is a very interesting story, but I'm not the one to tell it. There's literally a playwright who would love to tell this story to anyone who will listen in Orthema, so I feel he could tell it better.
I'd rather ask your mom, to be honest.
Honestly, you'd get a very short and clinical description.
Me too.
I say the bag of holding is just a bit distracting right now, but Anyway, so anyone else want to talk about things? Maybe just a quick glance at Thea, then like after 2 seconds, just look straight to Felix. Felix.
What, you want to hear a story, Costas?
I mean, if you're willing.
Well, what
You seem.
tale do you want to hear?
What kind are you willing to share? I feel like if I pry too much, I'll wake up with a dagger in my hand.
I don't know where to start. What genre are you looking for?
You categorize your experiences by genre.
Ooh,
Yes.
I would be delighted for a murder mystery.
Oh, a murder mystery.
Throw in some. Do you have some romance comedy with a murder mystery at the same time?
I think really hard. Romance, no. Casual flinging, yes.
Bill.
Joe is very interested.
Um,
Coming from Thea, this is her being extremely forthcoming right now.
Costas has somehow obtained some corn and is making popcorn for everyone.
You're
Ow.
making popcorn?
How?
How are you going to make popcorn?
He's
I mean, we have a skillet.
We have a skillet. He's using a shield to cover the skillet so it doesn't pop out. And he's throwing corn on the skillet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do go on.
All right. Well, I have a very particular set of skills.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, I have a tendency to have a hot head. So, in my... And you see that she's struggling with what word to use right now.
Definitely.
Costas is just has like one eyebrow lifted, just stare, just like he is very interested.
And I'm looking again. We decided on the romance comedy. Romance
Romance,
comedy.
comedy, murder mystery.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the mystery part is going to be less of a mystery because reasons. But so often I was paired with people who were more level-headed, if you would. Shockingly, 22-year-old humans can be level-headed sometimes. I look at Costas.
Costas is completely oblivious to what you're implying.
And you know, sometimes you have to wait for an opportune moment, and sometimes waiting gets really, really long and really, really boring. So, you know, you do what you got to do to pass the time. And then you move on to the murder. I'm staring at Costas to see what his reaction is at my cavalier mention of murdering people.
He's a tad bit disturbed, but he's used to it. He's handing out popcorn now.
Might move on to the murder. It's
Can you
what kind of
elaborate
murder?
on like you get yeah?
Can I elaborate on what, Costas?
Never mind. I'm
Do,
asking.
do, do we need to have the talk?
No, I didn't mean it that way. No, okay. You know what?
Are,
Just
are you sure?
I meant
think you
more
got
like
heated there.
I meant more
Are
like
you-
what happened. Like was it like did you mean like you basically talked nothing about this human? You just said it was a human who was 22 and you guys like hung out and like I'm assuming you did something, but like you didn't like elaborate on who he was, like what you guys just like why you were working together. Like we need some proper story set up here so Felix can write his book. But yes, this is like well, what like how'd you guys meet? Was it like a meet cute or just a meet?
Were they schmexy?
Yes,
Very.
I mean oh. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, some steamy romance. All
No.
hunkered up on a stakeout together. Thighs quivering at their touch as they try not to distract themselves upon their mark. I'm sorry.
In his head, Joe hears Josephine, Aramita Chesterfield Buckwilder.
I outwardly cringe a little bit and quiver.
Yeah, and
Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting.
as that shuts him up, my thighs have never quivered for anyone.
I believe you. I'm sorry.
Usually the other way around.
Oh,
Joe,
you poor girl.
Joe, you've been reading a bit too many of those two horns, one bush. What's the name of the book?
Yeah.
You've been reading too much of that. You've been reading too much.
One does get bored out in the wild sometimes.
Yeah, it's just
My imagination gets to run wild.
you get bored. And you just want to have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that simple. There is no romance about it.
Damn.
Like you didn't like meet it. You guys never like met again or like went on a date or anything. Kind of just went like
Well, I saw him pretty much every day. Years.
Was it awkward?
No, occasionally we would get bored, and then
Oh, I
but
see how this is.
it doesn't mean anything.
I see. I've heard
Wow.
of this. Okay.
Attachments were kind of frowned upon.
You know, Constance, I don't think you have heard of this, to be quite frank. I think that you are new to this experience, which is all right. It's okay to
No. The bartender in Othema talked to me about this before.
Oh, yes.
Was it like when a mommy and a daddy want to make a baby? They just
Oh.
No.
What is
He was,
Oh, no.
he was ranting about something going on with some of the waiters. Okay, that was.
Frankly, Costas, I'm kind of surprised. You know, a young, decent-looking fella with a ton of money and a rich, noble background. Like, you must have been batting the women off you when you were growing up.
Have you met my mother?
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure,
I
but
I think she-
still, just
she
the way you're
asked
slumming it.
to-
Felix, you have the weirdest type.
What do you mean?
I mean, his mom is batshit crazy and scary as hell. I mean, there's
That
a
sounds
certain
like a good
attraction to
Saturday night.
danger. Ugh. I've come too close to death too many times.
I
That's
cast.
not much of an aphrodisiac for me.
Okay,
Well, I
Felix.
got this amulet now, so I'll be okay. I'll hold up
Felix,
the,
do you need me to calm you down?
enclosure.
I can cast calm emotions if you want, Felix.
I don't know.
Nah,
let
I'm
the man
good.
enjoy himself.
I have my emotions how they are.
You know, I have to agree with Felix on this. I think, honestly, the crazy ones can be the most fun.
Have none of you ever heard the
Oh.
"Don't stick your sword in crazy"? Don't stick.
Oh, I have, certainly.
Wow. On that note, we're going to go take a break. It's a good time for it. I don't know where the conversation went from here, but we went somewhere. Let me tell you, we were really going somewhere.
Very
All right.
interested in casual.
Yeah,
I want to hear
apparently.
that story.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons.
it's a good time to have fun with friends. All right, so we take a
It's
10-minute break.
hilarious.
We're gonna take it. I don't know if Lucas, if your dad.
Oh,
We're
I
taking,
hope
yeah.
he's.
Wah, wah.
Okay, so we're taking a 10-minute break or
Oh.
so. So we're coming back at about 6:30 p.m. PST. So if you're watching the stream, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And we will be right back. So see you in a bit. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. Obviously, we've had trouble with Twitch, and it looks like it's been okay for the last 40 minutes or so. It's awesome. So we're back into this. In terms, we can say it's still midnight, right? So I'm letting you all dictate. Again, as I said in break, it's really just a checkpoint in the conversation to see if we want to keep going with this roleplay or move on from there. So I went ahead and fast tracked the time just a little bit so you can just get the long rest in, because that's what I assume you're going to do. In addition, Israel, you can add, right? You're studying a second level spell slot is what I'd imagine, or at least just sharing or doing something of your own. So Soren obviously has prepared the Fortune's Favor. They don't have many spells that they have prepared. They're also a pretty decently leveled wizard. So they're kind of working on that as they did for 4 hours through the conversation, as well as staying up a little bit more. And then Othala, which when Jay gets back here, is the same thing. They were doing a second level spell as well. The thing there is that obviously Soren does not have coin to transcribe this spell and kind of go through with that. So it'd have to be coin that, Israel, you're going to have to take out of your own at a point, or just saying that you're giving them the supplies, right? Just saying that that's where the role play comes from.
Yep.
So how much is that? 100?
It's 50 per spell level, so it's 200
Okay.
of supplies to use to transcribe the spell. And Jay, welcome back.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Dealing with a dog.
Just checking, you guys didn't hear anything from me, right?
We did. We heard you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just laughing?
Mm-hmm.
It was a little
Great,
more than that,
okay.
buddy.
I missed
I'm
that?
just
No.
kidding. I'm just kidding. It was just laughing. He went and got ice cream, and he was like, "There's gonna be other people in the mic, so I'm trying to mute it." And then we literally just heard him just go.
Oh, man.
So yeah, just again giving you the long rest so you can work on your character sheets, adding the spells, or taking the time to adjust, other things. But you can still continue the conversation from midnight. As such, someone can ask, is anybody else doing anything before you get to sleep, or are you continuing your RP? Right, it's all up to you.
I'm down to continue RP if you guys don't want to. I think.
I don't care. I only need 4 hours to sleep.
Yeah, it's too busy trancing.
He gave me a long rest, so I have nothing else to do until morning.
Yeah, Othala will fiddle with his ring on his finger a little bit, thinking about what Soren was saying about heart and always believing, Ever since I've came here, memories have been a little cloudy, but things have shortly been coming back as we've been traveling. Not too sure if it's jumping through the rifts or moving through time so much, but I think I'm starting to understand certain things. I was born in a place that was vast and amazing. It was a city. Just imagine Athema much, much further in the future, built prosperous, where magic and technology were built together, and I was a part of that. But my powers didn't let me be there and took me away from that. And for a weird reason, I didn't want to be an adventurer. I always wanted to study the arcane, but it seems that fate spun me upon this. And sometimes I say that I'm a failed planeswalker because sometimes I can't get back to where I want to go, and I'm always moving forward, never backwards. And maybe that's what I have to believe in, that my path is probably forward. And I had a party like this. I remember them vaguely. It's sort of like shadows. And we tried to get me back to my home. But that put me here. So I don't know if that was my heart of an adventurer pulling me along forward again, not letting me go home. I don't know, I've been thinking about it, and it's a little weird to have clouded memories, but still have full consciousness of myself and not understanding truly what it is I'm supposed to do. And maybe it's just time and fate that I have to battle rather than everything that's going on. And I'm grateful for everyone here for helping me and sticking along as long as y'all have. No one has to be here for this battle or for any of the battles that we're fighting, but we all do it, regardless of being a chosen one, regardless of what's happening. And I just want to let each and every one of y'all know that I appreciate y'all.
Shoot, right back at you, buddy. You have been a dear friend the whole time I've known you. It's yeah, we don't have to be here, but well, it seems we all have at least some vague sense of curiosity and duty towards our fellow man. And yeah, the fact that you have always been here to help us, that means a lot. Definitely happy to have you as long as you're around.
Yeah, I appreciate that. These memories that I actually fully can grasp, I cherish a lot, and I appreciate y'all for being a part of those. Truly.
Yeah. Honestly, I can think of a lot worse ways to die than going against a dragon. So I'm going to keep looking forward too.
Same here.
Especially an acid dragon.
Believe me, worse ways.
Yeah, definitely worse ways.
Yeah, like my cousin Jeff helping out renovating one of my neighbor's houses one day, and we had a painter up on the ledge. There was a 2x4 that was rested up against a rock with a paint can on the end, and he dropped a brick right on it, right on the other end. The whole thing teeter-totter straight up, flipped over in the air 3 times, and nailed him right square in the face.
Oh,
Crushed to
God.
death right then and there. Yeah, absolutely meaningless. Just stone dead. Luck of the Buckwilder struck again. The downside of it. Definitely rather it be a dragon than that.
Joe, I thought my life was fascinating at one point, and then I met you.
Yeah, no, there has been some weird stuff. Definitely. It's ugh. The old Buckwilder luck thing is it came to a head one time, but well, I don't know.
It's come to a head many times.
No, he's always been around for certain. There was the one. Well, I don't know. Do y'all want to hear this? I feel like
very
story
much
time.
Definitely.
Joe, I have one question before you begin. Are you sure
Uh,
you're not from the Feywild?
I'm definitely not from the Feywild.
Are you sure you're from this plane of existence?
I'm absolutely from this plane of existence.
Okay. Lord.
So it was actually just after Jeff died. We'd had that family curse for quite a while, and I was kind of sick of it. I really liked my cousin Jeff growing up. So there was a local hag that had been in the area for the last half a year or so, and she definitely seemed like a decent sort. She was helping with some, local minor maladies and healing up people fine, so I didn't think she was any of the weird, twisted eldritch type. So I went to her one day and said, hey, look, I got this family curse, this weird luck and anti-luck thing that's been plaguing us, and it just claimed my cousin. Is there any way that you know of that we can actually lift it and free us, all of our family lineages, from this forevermore? And she thought for a minute, and she said, okay, yeah, meet me here tomorrow morning. So we showed up, and she said, okay, I've got this whole ritual prepared. You just got to do exactly what I say from start to finish. So she gave me this kind of bundled up wad of all kinds of like weird sparkly herbs and whatnot. She said, okay, now this is what you call a suppository. I need you to insert this for me. And we don't have the most sophisticated healing techniques back home, so I was unfamiliar with that kind of thing at the time. I guess it was kind of advanced for us. I had to explain it, and well, it was a little bit uncomfortable, but I went ahead and did it. And from then on, I started seeing all kinds of crazy shit going down. And I swear I had like double vision of seeing off into all kinds of magical planes, like seeing these just vast eldritch intelligences off, like wreaking their magic works off in the distance. Couldn't really make out what was going on, but it was almost like being awakened to a whole other plane of existence at the time. We were kind of going through the forest as far as I could tell. Couldn't quite make out what was going on. Eventually, at one point, I saw this looked like a great glowing, be-antlered elk. It was for what I took of it, it was just the quintessential spirit of nature and existence and self out here in the middle of the woods, and I was overcome by this sense of awe and understanding of the whole circle of life and what it means to be here, run around eating, hunting, and begetting ourselves. And I kind of shared this sense of belonging with it, and it kind of looked down at me and it said, "Joe, you asshole, stop shooting me full of arrows, you sumbitch. If I actually had opposable thumbs right now, I'd gut you like a fish." And then it kind of fucked off back into the woods, and that was the end of that. Anyway, still going along this journey, being led deeper and deeper into the wilderness, still kind of seeing all this kind of crazy voodoo stuff going on in the background. I had this sense that something was wrong, and I was able to kind of snap myself out of it as I felt something tightening around my wrists, and I came to find that it was the bad kind of hag, and she was setting me up on some kind of a sacrificial altar-like. And as I was hearing her chanting, I saw that she was actually trying to ritually sacrifice me to a damn Wendigo. This nasty slavering beast was off in the forest clearing, just waiting to devour me and eat my soul or some kind of crazy shit. So, I channeled every last little bit of Buckwilder luck that was left in me at the time. I was able to slip my bonds just barely and run off towards the woods. Now, I wasn't so lucky that they didn't notice. They were hot on my heels, tearing through the forest like casting spells and hexes, trying to bring me down. And I don't know if it was good luck or bad lucky, but as I had it, ran smack dab into a hunting party of ogres. Now, normally that would be a cause for extreme alarm. They tend to crunch on us smaller folk for breakfast, but man, if there's one thing they absolutely despise, it's a fucking Wendigo. They saw this thing tearing after me. They went into full crazy mode. Now, it's worth mentioning that they had some odd kind of dress at the time that they didn't really put two and two together. They're all like bespectacled and bedazzled with all kinds of shiny rock that was glued to themselves. Didn't really understand it at the time, but yeah, we fought off this hag and this Wendigo. It was a pitched battle. I managed to nail the hag of the rock right as she was trying to hex their leader, and distracted him enough we were able to bring him down. The leader there told me his name was what was it? Chief Rupel Rockjaw, and he invited me back to his place. And normally that I'd try to, say no to that kind of thing, because that just sounds like they're going to try to eat me. But they then explained that it was actually, if you believe this, it was Ogre Pride Month. I had absolutely no idea that this kind of thing existed, and as such, they were in a very welcoming spirit. So we went back to their village late at night, and wouldn't you know it, all them crazy bedazzlements on their skin, they started strapping like bits of log to their heels and whatnot, sashaying up and down a walkway, doing some kind of fashion show, and they wanted me to be the judge. So, we all got roaring drunk that night. I was able to slip my bonds out before they decided to sober up and eat me the next morning, but yeah, that was quite the experience. That, my friends, is the story of how I came to be a judge on Chief Rupel's drag show. Anyway, went back to the fields the next morning, talked to the local here that was not a hag, told him about the whole suppository thing, and he just called me a dumbass and walked away.
Joe?
Yep.
Remind me to never let you out of my sight, because I need to experience these things too.
You don't really want to experience something like that. I mean, it was wild.
A lot more entertaining than what I've experienced in my life.
I will say, next time you decide to go off and do, like, maybe next time will be a dragon drag show, like, I want to come too for the story. I mean, the guards in Othema are gonna love it.
Just out of curiosity, how much did you have to smoke before that adventure?
Oh, I didn't have to smoke a damn thing. There was some kind of powerful herbs and drugs in, well, that bumwad did all the work for me. You know, I mean, up until I met you guys, that was definitely the story of my most interesting day back home. You know, it wasn't until
day. I think it's still your most interesting day. It's my most interesting day, and I'm just hearing about it.
Certainly.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know, man, meeting all them talking wolves and being
No,
transformed to animal spirits and going back and meeting the
those
High
giant
King, but yeah, that whole thing,
Yeah.
and then fighting that dragon, that was nuts.
it was
You know,
Tuesday.
I will say the druids that were connected to a tree mentally was also pretty crazy, but I don't think crazier than the ogres.
I have literally traveled through the astral sea, and that was more trippier than what I have seen.
Well, you know, for every time something interesting like that happens back home, you have 1,000 more days of absolutely nothing. So, this has been a nice, refreshing change.
You are bringing us to your hometown, and there will be no argument.
Dirty Joe, you see the golem turn in the direction. Look, that shit is fucked up. So it turns to the original guards.
Coming up next week on the Tales of Dirty Joe.
Basically.
All right, I'm all stored out. We'll get some sleep if nobody else has anything else.
Well, yeah, I think if we're gonna end anywhere, we should end on a high note. Both literally and figuratively in this case.
Okay. Everyone's going to sleep. Okay. All right.
Would I be able to finish the spell, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Putting it to a point where you'd be able to wake up. Done. So.
Cool bean.
You rise, campfire put out, obviously, not leaving that on. It's pretty warm in here as well. The stone tower, it's insulated and such. So the guardians standing tall have not moved. They have watched over the alarm spells, both of them. Did not deploy of any manner. They're still lingering and their magic dissipating away. You are rejuvenated, healed back from your wounds of the fight with these creatures, these golems, and these constructs. And so you're ready to go. I mean, there's not anything that has happened to you all over the night. And with Soren with their dulcimer just kind of pulls it out in the morning and just kind of begins to plunk away at it, just playing around and staring at it. And then they too are quite pep to get going. So, maybe a little bit eager.
All right, let's go. Today's gonna be a long day.
Long day. We need to cross the river again, don't we?
Well, that was a fail.
I mean, the dude did say that the Nightwing was no longer connected to Orcivis, so I guess that's a half a win? Hopefully he doesn't show up at an inopportune moment.
Unlikely.
Point.
It's information. Information's good to have.
Indeed.
Should we initiate Plan B and go for the southern fort?
What if we lit a campfire in the middle of the forest and tried to lure the Nightwing to us? I mean, maybe not like right now, but next time we make camp, we set up a campfire like 500 feet away or something. Just it hunts at night. So.
Gonna have to ixnay that one, man. We now know the dragon's patrolling at night, and that is a beacon that says, come spit acid on us from midair.
Fair
Mhm.
point. Yeah, I like my face being not melted.
Same
Well, I
here.
don't understand why we would. He said Nightwing is no longer under Orcivis' control, and it doesn't. I I don't know why we need to worry about it anymore.
I mean, it's working for the dragon, so it's still our enemy.
Yeah, it might be that maybe it's not under Orcivis
Do
control.
we know that?
Yeah.
Yes, because the Nightwing is the one who told us that they wanted to make a deal. When you were off rescuing him, the Nightwing had us all pinned down.
Oh, okay.
Indicated that Grugash wanted to make some sort of deal.
Yeah, so even if Orcivis doesn't have a hand in it, Grugash still has his claws over Nightwing.
Regardless, we shouldn't be setting beacons in the middle of the night. We don't want the both of them to find us at the same time, certainly.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would know what would happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
would.
so we wouldn't want that to happen again.
There's no
So
way
yeah,
for
I
us
guess
to
I'll
launch a
default.
flaming object like 5 miles away, right?
What?
We have no methods of launching flaming objects long distances, right?
5 miles away.
And just that'd be like
Do
a
you,
minimum.
have you known of anything that could throw something 5 miles
Well,
away?
I'm more talking like magic or something. Do we have like
Well,
a way of like
there's the Sumerian war cannons can fire things. Wow. Nothing that we have.
because I mean, if they are patrolling at night, we might as well make them get their like flight miles in, you know? Make them run around the entire forest by starting like 5 or 6 different fires across the marshes.
I don't think the druids would take too kindly to that.
Fair point.
Well, in making a distraction seems quite irrelevant if all of us are, me myself included, are to slay this dragon, right?
Well, it's more out of spite than anything.
Out of spite. So we would take the time to light a series of fires.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Draw
If we
the-
could do it like from range, like if we could just like spend like a few minutes, maybe like a few spells, just launching things, making like letting like multiple areas on fire,
What
just
makes
make
you
them
think
fly
the
around.
forest will catch? It
It
rains
is a swamp.
all the time. And it's a swamp. I'm with Dirty Joe. It's a swamp. Casas, you are trained, right? As like noble paladin, I'd imagine you had some education in
Like I'm asking if it's possible.
military
I'm
tactics.
asking if it's possible. Let's.
Yeah,
And this is
that's
less
true.
military tactics, more messing with a dragon. This is.
Israel, do you
It's been a
hear?
very annoying dragon.
Son of
Are
a
you
playwright,
listen-
maybe he's just been heard a lot of stories.
I
Oh.
suppose.
Okay, let's go cross this
Well.
river.
Got a river to cross. I'm assuming not to play this while we go.
Yes.
Unless we're
Yeah,
underwater,
correct.
yes. Maybe when we're underwater, if we do that.
No.
Yeah.
Underwater.
No.
What is that?
Underwater.
Underwater.
Awesome. What?
What?
Are you trying
I
to
mean-
turn me into a whale again?
If that's what we're doing, then maybe could.
You probably
No.
morphed that one into a whale.
I'm
Wow.
gonna say no whale.
Okay.
Do we not remember what I said about black dragons and being, aquatic in nature?
We did not, or at least I did not.
You weren't paying attention that day. Got it.
The whale would be a hungry, nice snack for a dragon.
I mean, I wonder if turning me into the nastiest, biggest, meanest type of whale would impart some kind of benefit. Like, I imagine I could snap one of his limbs off fairly easily. Thinking out loud here.
Giant shark.
Would whale combat be advantageous to us?
Well,
Giant whale Joe in an acid lake or a regular river lake? Because
I'm talking the river. No, do not make me swim through an acid lake.
Well, the dragon can swim, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And we all can't, nor could we possibly cast spells if we're under the water.
Y'all could be on the shore. I'm just trying to think, like, it's either this or ambush him in his cavern. Like,
So-
if there's some
So
advantage
your
that we could get,
recommendation is to polymorph you into a whale.
this is
and
not a
then
recommendation yet.
To light a series of fires to draw out the dragon and fight them in a terrain and environment that suits the dragon
And the whale.
and the whale, while we watch from afar on the shoreline.
We could provide ranged assistance.
No, it's,
We could
I
make
have
her.
not thought this through yet. I'm just kind of thinking out loud, trying to
I'm
get any
just
kind of
saying-
idea I can.
If we are doing the whale thing, we can make some ballistas that shoot harpoons. and
We are
then
not
launch
making
them.
damn ballistas. We do not have ballistas, nor do we have the means to make ballistas. No ballistas. All right, now this is stupid. Let's move on.
Yes, I'm in agreement. We should move on. Didn't we also get the Rangers, the Ivrai, to help us with the Southern
Not today,
Fort?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow they will be out
They
there
said
tomorrow.
2 days. It's only been half a day.
Mm.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the fort.
We can at
We
least
have a
scope it
full
out.
day. We have a full day. We're just gonna do some scouting. That's all we're gonna do today.
Do you think they noticed if a few of their friends disappeared? Like the elves under the influence of the dragon. And the
Probably.
because again,
How?
the perception of reality seemed skewed at the very least. So I'm wondering, like, if we could maybe like
Reality is different than their perceptions of each other. They all view each other as working toward the same goal, which is why they work together in groups.
You're right. You're right.
The others who are enchanted might just believe that these ones were consumed by the undead.
There's a good point. Maybe we could. I think someone mentioned earlier maybe luring them out, and I mean, we were meant to do that on the main assault, but if we can maybe like use illusions or something to make them believe there were just a few undead outside the forts, lure like 4
If-
out, and maybe handle them.
Cannot make them think that there are undead outside their fort. We have to make them think that people like us are outside their fort, so that their skewed perceptions make them think it's undead.
I'm just they.
Yes, but
I'm
we
just-
also have to recall that we all killed those, and well, the one not. I was. Istro can back me up here, but they're not going to just so easily pursue anything. That party never came back. You what I'm saying? The party never returned, so their fort is going to be on lockdown now. They are not going to leave that fort, knowing that there's individuals that are competent enough to kill one of their parties that go out.
What if we hit their food supplies?
No,
we want to sneak in late tomorrow.
I
so
think
if
we
they get
have.
our
I
food
think
supplies,
we had a
maybe that is
fine
good.
strategy with the Ivrai. I feel like that was a fantastic strategy. Draw a distraction, then infiltrate the fort while they're distracted.
I'm just saying, like, we have an extra day. Like, what
Of
are we going
course,
to do?
I mean,
We can
yeah,
utilize that to determine our best point of entry.
It's
Okay.
going to take some time to get there, anyways.
yes.
yeah.
Especially if you have to figure a way across the river, not by a whale.
Preferably not.
Right. All right, well, carry onwards, anyone?
Yeah, off to the fort, I guess.
So, everyone packing up their supplies, getting themselves ready. Is anybody doing anything before heading out of the tower? No? Okay.
Oh, Othala would have reapplied Caustic's makeup.
Solid.
I'm actually, I don't think it's going to do anything, but I am going to put on the cloak that I took off the dead body.
Okay. On the cloak you got off the dead body. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the western tower here, Warsatra, is pretty close to the river, kind of riverside here with the grass and the other things kind of running themselves into the river. The river is quite large in terms of its width. It will take, as I stated when you were in the whale, right, it will take a number of hours to potentially swim across for yourselves if you're attempting to take this journey without polymorphing. Not sure in terms of water walking, right, could be an option, or maybe crossing the river at a less wide part, right? So even wrapping all the way around to the north here, using the north embankment and crossing at a less of a part. Now, it's not something that's not doable, right? It's just a swim. Anybody can really make it. And there are trees and other sorts of vegetation that do grow quite tall. And the river, albeit deep at certain points, isn't that way all the time, as it does feed into the delta. And so as it feeds into the delta, it's beginning to separate into multiple paths. And then the estuary begins to kind of funnel through and such. And those things have an effect on the actual flow of the water as well as the volume. You all have to kind of come into some conclusion of what it is what method you want to do to get across the river here. If it's just swimming, you're going to swim. And then if we're getting across, where exactly are we going? Right? That's the question. So right now you've gone a number of hundreds of feet, getting into the tall grass of the river. You can see across. The rain is extremely heavy. That's producing an effect which is kind of confusing your sight lines. But you can see the ruined city of Phixia with the multitudes of debris and rubble throughout its central kind of place where that Satoric citadel is, and that's separating outwards. And you can get that across the river. But then past that point, right, the rain is creating that funnel-like effect where you just cannot see much of anything.
Well, guys, I mean, we could cut some trees down. Hope they're not too waterlogged, and just paddle our way across.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Joe on this. Maybe a makeshift raft.
Mhm.
We have rope. We have wood kind of close by. It's not ideal, but it's better than swimming.
I mean, we have 3 tinkerers, so why not?
It's hours of hard labor. I'm mostly just trying to ascertain if there's actually a better method than turning me into a whale again, because it was convenient, even if it was very existentially uncomfortable. But we do kind of need to get across there.
We could swing around the south. It unfortunately means crossing 3 separate water bodies, but it would put us south of the fort.
Into unknown peril. I mean,
know.
we didn't really mess with the last tower the last time in the other timeline. Who knows what's there waiting for us? So I guess let's weigh the risk.
Maybe
if we go into whale mode and try to go underwater here, it would be the quickest way across, but possibly leave us vulnerable to aquatic attack. On the other hand, it would take a lot longer to make some kind of a raft and or go to another location and just try to, I don't know, rope our way across or something. What's everybody feeling on this?
Michael, are there very small rivers not on this map?
There are small tributaries rivers that are not on the map. That's correct.
Are they navigable by boat? Or like
None of that
canoe?
is going to help you to get across the waterway. The water is
I'm
flowing.
I'm trying to figure out if the previous raiding parties from the castle would have had to have left a boat on the bank before they go into the Ifrit Lake, or if they would have brought their boat through some tributary to the Ifrit Lake.
Yeah, so you're wondering if the rangers, actually plural, right? Even Ivrai would have boats on the river. That's what you're wondering?
Yeah, because like can they bring them to the lake, or do they have to leave them here before getting to the Ivrai
There's no river that will take you up to the Ivrai Lake. That's so you're on the right track of logic, right? You could scour the bank and see where they made port. or even where the Ivrai you stow their boats sticking across the river. Right, you can see if they have it. The question is where, right? So I think you're on the right logic. There's just no, they're not going to port the boats all the way to the lake. They'll leave them on the shore as they cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rangers from the rangers working for Grugash and the Evrai, they can't bring their boats to the lake, and they clearly must have them. I'm assuming they don't swim across this every time. They had multiple boats in their lake, so maybe we could try to check. I mean, we can kind of think like they would, think maybe what the most direct path to the Ivrai Lake would be, and then try to look generally where you would have parked a boat if you were going from that fort to the Ivrai Lake. Again, there's an entirely wiped out raiding party that had to cross this river and never had to cross back. So their boats should be somewhere.
I mean, we could do that.
Could do that, but it's not going to be the most direct way. If I'm hunting something or someone, I don't want them to know that I'm coming straight at them.
Also, we don't know how many of those boats are still in good repair, and they all have to meet us over there, which means they have to use them. So I would not want to deprive them of any resources they have.
Well, I mean, again, I'm hoping that we'd find the ones for the party that we killed, so that they don't need the boats anymore since they're dead. But they used them a few days ago, so they're probably well enough that they could cross back, or the repairs should be rather quick. And
you're not wrong, but there's a whole lot of ifs in there.
Yeah,
Ugh,
I'm just saying,
right,
like, it's
guys,
better than
just turn me into a damn whale again. Let's get across this damn river. I don't really like it. It freaks me out, but, needs must. I got dragon tokens I have to collect.
Okay.
I mean, Joe, it doesn't have to be anybody can be a whale if you don't want to be.
Oh, please, God, don't make me do it again. If somebody else is volunteering me.
I'll volunteer to be a whale. I think that's all right.
Good. I'll polymorph Soren into a whale.
Oh, wait, just...
Whale Express!
So in the mouth or on the back?
We're gonna Pinocchio this.
I think we want to be on the back because in the mouth because we didn't want to be seen last time. So
yeah, same logic applies here, right? So open up, Soren.
Well, this is freaky as hell. Alright, here we go. Soren, if you eat me, I will give you the world's worst indigestion.
We should try to clean our boots or something, right, before getting in his mouth, just for.
I will not walk into his mouth.
Polite is
poking
polite.
the bristles. Poke the bristles. This is weird.
Does he have cavities?
It's bristles.
Yeah, bristle cavities.
Is this a sperm whale, or is this a baleen whale or a toothed whale?
I think it's sperm whale, giant whale. What the largest whale that's there?
The sperm whale. It's the largest whale there.
Yeah,
it's a toothed whale. Yeah.
I'm gonna start looking for whale cavities.
Go ahead and make a medicine check. On punting in the mouth, Soren then closes and goes to submerge. Goes quiet.
I still hate it.
Pretty sure you find one. You begin to tap on it. The tongue hits you up into the roof of the mouth.
Do that! Ow!
The echoes of the whale continue through the mouth.
Okay.
Okay. Well, as you're inside of the mouth of the whale, there's a number of there's a distant. This takes a little bit to be in here. I mean, you're here for a good 30 to some odd minutes. You're traversing across the body of water, so obviously Soren is the whale. Your little echolocation pings happening and moans coming from the whale. eventually, after the time has surpassed, you arise on the other shore, opening the mouth towards all of you. You've gone a little bit further south from the current position, just kind of clinging with the current, and that's going to put you kind of over here-ish in terms of where they want. And then they open the mouth up, and from there you can give guidance. I mean, you can head further south from there, right? It's going to keep going down the river if you want to get into the tree line, or if you want to kind of.
I think wherever puts us in walking distance of the Evrai meetup,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so they gave you a spot in the map here. It's pretty close to that at this point. It'd be a good point to disembark the whale, and then from there, kind of getting further south, there is actually a notable spot in terms of position. This is where the Ivrai were noting previously, and this is where you referenced that before, marked by this square kind of icon they just put down. Upon getting to the south after walking, using stealth at this point, trying to keep your perceptions alert, you can't necessarily see the fort because of how tall the grass is, and you're kind of having to fight that sight line in the grass. The rain is still falling down quite heavily around you. You then remove the polymorph of Soren, no longer needing to be a whale. Soren then kind of shakes themselves, also kind of spits out the tongue, right? Having a little bit of moments of this polymorph from when they were a whale. And then coming to the square icon, after, I would say, probably about 40 more minutes of travel here, you see what resembles that of a kind of a rickety dock. So there is a wooden kind of dock that seems to be kind of decayed and weathered, and it does extend into the water a little bit briefly. Could be a relic of the former. And from there, you kind of go to it, and on some of your past investigations, you are passive perceptions as well. There are things that are hidden, clay kind of pots that they have hidden into the actual dirt and the muck. So you kind of tap, and there's a sound. You're like, hey, what's that? And you look, and it could be the Ivrai, right? Could also be the rangers of the wooden fort. But based on the information that you all have in this location, clearly Ivrai marked this as somewhat safe. So you all are here at this point. You have another day or so, or kind of past the noon hour. The rain's still coming down. You have yet to encounter any undead. There are bodies, though, that you have come across on the shoreline, some of which are kind of spilling themselves a little bit through the grass. That's quite long. Some of it gets to about 8 feet to 9 feet in height, this grass, as it rolls away from the tree line. And then once you get to the tree line, which you can see along the shore, that tall and leafless, needleless trees, as well as the roots upended, some of the river kind of spills into it, but it's resembling that of the kind of terrain or the environment around the altar of flowers. So you have large mushrooms and ferns, some good sight lines, right? These other things that were kind of the altar flowers were showcasing. So giving you some information to work off of as you approach this fort. The fort seems to be entrenched by very tall grass. So there is that almost natural stealth element to it.
Joe is going to look around for any traps or signaling devices or anything that he can ascertain that might go away our presence.
I will assist in that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception or investigation check if you're looking for traps. 14
Oh.
and a 15. So as you're looking around for traps, snares, and tripwire, you don't see anything relevant to the dock area. But taking your perceptions and going into the grass a little bit of ways, getting the scout and reports, you notice that hidden in the actual grass, about 100 or so feet from the tree line, are little tiny snares of line that have these almost as if they're cans to rattle. You're well away from the actual fort here at this spot. Could be residual for hunting game that they used or hunting fang that they used. But you're particularly far away from the fort right now. It's at least 6 or so miles at that point.
Hey, Thea, if they
Yeah.
got little sound rattle traps over here, it must imply that there's something around to listen for them. Let's scour the tree line and, I don't know, be on your guard. Maybe there's something that's listening for us. And I would also like to check for any unseen watchers.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're taking the perceptions and looking in the direction of the tree line, if anybody's in the trees. Looking at the mangroves and such. As you do that, you are able to see that there are traps they have put into the trees themselves. So there's net traps with tripwire they've laid out in some of the trees and tree line. You didn't notice these until you backtracked a little bit, kind of got deeper into there. So it's not completely right at the edge of the water where the trees are as they spill into the river. It's when you go further at that point, the eastern direction.
Should I give them a call, or are you looking for them?
Well, we weren't expecting them until tomorrow, right?
Yeah. They might not be expecting us right now, so might be on guard.
I think if anything, let's make a long loop around the entire fort, get the lay of the land, see if we can detect any kind of opportune points of attack or anything that we else need to look out for. It's well trapped and seemingly well guarded from what we've seen, but any other nasty surprises, we need to be aware of them.
Mm-hmm. Also, ascertaining the best point of entry.
So are you
I-
all going to do this stealth mission? Or is this just going to be a couple?
I would be
If
happy
you had a
to
data
join.
kill, I can help some of us move with you. Just in case. Hey, I'll snap at Soren.
Yes.
Can you make people invisible?
Well, I don't believe I have that in the spell book right now. Take a look here, opening through. Just gotta begin to look through the pages. Nope, I'd have to copy it down. It'll take some time.
Okay, whatever. Mr. Athala or Miss Israel, are either of you able to do that?
Not at the moment.
Unfortunately, if you're giving me an hour, I possibly could write it down, but yeah. It's more of a you ability.
Cool. All right. Well, I can make some of us invisible. If we want to go as a group, we could. Or if you guys want to go on your own, I can make up to 4 of us invisible.
I would be happy to go, but I'd have to wear something besides my armor.
At
What
the
you want
same
to do in
time,
your
I
own
don't
time,
really
bud,
want
is
to.
up to you.
I think we probably should split up. We can all sneaky step around and slowly and carefully reconnoiter. If we have to go invisible, if we have to split up for some kind of hastily perceived threat, we'll keep that in our back pocket. But for now, let's just be real stealthy and quiet. So I'd
Yeah,
like to
no,
pass without trace, and we can all
and
go scouting.
thanks to you, Felix, I was able to grasp that dimension door a little better, so be able to move us a little better. I don't know how that helped.
Copycat.
Hey, it's a good trick. It was pretty good. But I believe that Darren said that the eastern side was possibly a better angle due to the way the rock structure was formed. Might want to look there first.
Yeah, we should probably also look for how we could get in. Is there gonna be like holes in the wall, or are we going to grappling hook, or maybe use ladders? It's.
You really want to use that grappling hook?
I
He
mean,
invested in it.
if we want to enter a castle stealthily and there's no holes in the wall, it's a
Been there,
good
done that. Don't worry. I know where you're coming from.
Da-na-na-na, da-na.
Okay. So let's go.
Okay. So, all right. So, taking some time here, casting Pass Without Trace, you begin to head in the direction. I would say probably hold off on the Pass Without Trace, right, until you get closer to where it might be needed. You're now
Yep.
hiking through the tall grass, kind of shifting through. It's getting slightly muddy, and you're also going at a descent. Like you're actually going lower towards what would be Crupple Lake, which is marked on the map. So you are then heading slightly to the east, right? Because you're trying to take the right side, get an understanding perspective of that. And on that, you begin to observe that there is what once was kind of a road or a path that's been entrenched, and almost as if the grass has been matted and pushed down over time and even removed at certain points. And that seems to kind of go in the direction towards Eor Satra, right? It kind of winds outwards towards the trees and then comes back around to the lake. And as soon as you step on it, it's just mud, right? So you're kind of stomping down upon it, and you're being aware of left and right as you get across. There doesn't seem to be any activity at the present moment. You then get onto the other side of this path or this road into the tall grass, and then you're taking your final kind of approach. And at that point, you throw off the Pass Without Trace. I'm going to go ahead and advance the time just to showcase how much time it took to get to this point, moving at a stealth pace, and with the party anyways, and then you're able to kind of wrap around. I'm going to be dropping down tokens here into position. This map in particular, the fort itself takes up is a decent of size, and to save on resources and such, actually kind of trimmed the map a little bit. So you're definitely not in your current positions. You're further away than this point, but just for the sake of performance and such. So to remove some things as well in terms of wall, which caused some problems. So, all right. So at this point, you are about 150 feet off of this map because you have to be somewhat close to get perspective, right? To be able to see it through the tall grass. The grass begins to become lean, which is marked by the map. Beyond that point, the grass is thick, okay? There is an entrance into the fort on its southern side. That was where the road seems to curve and lead. And it's marked by a series of walkways that are kind of about the palisade walls. Palisade walls are 10 feet tall, and the walkway has a slight half cover for whoever's walking on it. Black robed figures with bows drawn, ready to go. They're currently walking on the walkways, and their observations and their perspectives are looking from left to right. It's at this point, when you're poking out of the tall grass, that we need to get stealth checks. So, everyone go ahead. If you're going to be poking your head out and getting this vision, you need to make a stealth check here, and then we're going to just manually add the plus 10.
Okay.
Solid. Okay. So, Costas, I have you at a 22. Othala, you're at a 16. Okay. So, Othala, you, as you're coming through the grass, you're kind of slipping on the mud, and you're trying to get yourself in position. You go a little bit too far out in the tall grass, looking outwards, and then you kind of backpedal a little bit. And it seems as though one of the particular two of the rangers on the actual wall are kind of looking at your general direction at this point. As you're kind of staring into the grass, they're just looking at that point. You're kind of all frozen solid, right? Don't move at that stage, because you can see them looking through the perspective of this feed. They're staring. And Dirty Joe, you know the longbows they have equipped, they can make the shot, the far shot, but they can still shoot it. They're just kind of watching and observing at this point to see what it was they might have witnessed. For the glance and the view that you're able to obtain, it seems as though the rock structure, which stands about 17 to 18 feet, forms itself into kind of a square, kind of rough and tumbled shape, very similar to like an ice cream cone top. And it's on the back right side of the fort. There doesn't seem to be any entrance into it from your perspective. You can't see how to get in. You know there is a waterway moving through. You can hear that moving quick, even through the strong rain, and that seems to go underneath the actual palisade wall, and then funnels in through the fort, creating perhaps water, or maybe it's just a natural flow over time, and they've had to adapt to it. Past that is Crepple Lake. Crepple Lake is really at its backside, and so the fort is sitting lower than your current perspective, right? So you're kind of like this to it, as it's like lower end, right? And what you can observe from the lake is that it is rich with this black sulfuric. It's kind of bubbling, and there's this steam coming off of it at many times. And it definitely does not look the same color as the waterway that goes through the fort, marking that potentially, as we have heard as a party, that lake could be comprised of acid. So it's just kind of adding more evidence now through visual observations that is true. You now gather yourselves into the tall grass, not daring to get another look at the particular map, given that the two rangers have potentially spotted Othala, but yet to move or advance, pulling you away from them, that map.
And as soon as their attention wanders, let's get out of here and move on and see what else we can see from the other sides.
Yeah, I want to get a closer look at that waterway. Maybe we can enter through the water. I feel like that. But...
all in due time, their attention's on us. We can always come back. But yeah, if we have to, we might be able to swim through there somehow and assault it that way.
Yeah,
Let's move on and see what else there is. So yeah, I'm assuming we're going to try to make a stealthy retreat and continue with our reconnaissance.
Right?
Yes, because it seems like their attentions have potentially wandered somewhere else.
Okay. So, you then begin to backpedal, shifting through the grass, trying to remain silent. As it so happens, you're having to guide a little bit Dirty Joe, because now you're finding more of these snare-like traps, these warning snares that are littering in space. So you're having to point them out to your party. You're then making a wraparound approach, as similar as you did before. You're beginning to lessen. It takes a series of more hours to get yourselves around, wrapping to the other side of the fort. At this point, you need another series of stealth.
Is Joe gonna pass without trace again?
If you're Dirty Joe, you have to recast it. Yeah, if you're gonna use it again.
I'm a guidance.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So plus 10s, and then I ever heard of guidance as well.
Yep. 4. 21. I'm also gonna chrono shift. Cost this is 7.
So So you can do another, just roll a flat d20 costs.
Oh, flat d20, yeah.
Okay. So as you approach from the other side, you can see the water is what you're quite interested in. So that's probably what you're kind of making your way to the other side with. You can see it snakes through and then kind of funnels itself in the direction of the river. So it actually is a small tributary that's going towards the actual main body of water. The issue here is that it's extremely shallow. So some of these shrooms that are coming up with are not particularly deep. It's maybe 1.5 feet at its max depth. It's fast moving, and it makes a cutout of the tall grass. The actual muck and the mud nearby is quite slick and difficult. As you're looking at the fort, things have changed. You notice there's particularly more individuals upon the walkways. And as the actual night befalls now, as we kind of crest into the darkness, many of them that are not in light become invisible. They simply just vanish.
Which side of the fort are we on now?
We're on the west side.
You're on the west side, so this is the opposite side. Just getting an idea, you can barely make out the tall rock structure. It's also a little bit less in terms of the height difference between the fort, and there is significantly more mud on this side, which makes it a difficult approach.
Okay, and the rangers that we saw, were they all still just on the walkways, or did it look like they were on their way towards the wildlands, out on scouting parties?
All I can tell you is that none have left. You have not observed any of them leave, and it seems that they have bulked up their forces here as night has fell. And you can see some of the fires and some of the shadows moving through the gaps of the palisade wall. There are individuals, more of them at the fires. They're also talking. It's not that they're not saying things. They're not being loud enough to really overhear what they're saying, because you are hundreds, distance, right? But that sound is still kind of traversing, just trickling for those that have really high perceptions.
All right. Well,
Okay.
this just confirmed not to engage in anything at night.
Yeah, no night.
No.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're talking over the link. I'm going to ask everybody. So, okay, we can't necessarily see them. They have even better stealth abilities than mine. Should we retreat and, make a silent camp somewhere, or are we going to risk continuing to scout through the night? I know my eyesight ain't that good. I don't have dark vision like some of y'all. What do you think?
I think if we're planning to assault tomorrow, we should probably rest tonight.
We have to find somewhere defensible and hidden because these people hunt at night.
We have to strike at dawn, at daybreak. I can give the call to Theron and let them know that when the sun comes up, that's our signal.
Does it look like we're going to use the water? Seems impractical. Do you think we're going to try and scale the rocks then, or? Because if we haven't fully decided on one, maybe we should stay. We might just try to spend a little bit longer looking if we haven't fully decided on a plan of attack.
Well, we didn't get a look at the east side, is that right?
Yeah, we got one quick look and then we didn't look anymore because they spotted us. And we didn't want
That was on the south side, was it not?
No, it was the east.
Was it?
There's no the south side, as far as your understanding, the grass that was made by the path, as well as the entrenched mud and the additional reinforcements. The south side would be a fool's errand to try to attack. It's where it's primarily reinforced, and that's the entry into the fort. So you've been as you stated, you're looping around like this, right? And you're getting away from where their eyes and things, and you're using the density of that grass. So you're getting all angles at that point when you're swooping around.
What's the elevation on these hills
So
that are compared to the walls?
yeah, so the grass that's marked is just showcasing you a little bit how the grass is becoming less and less. All this map right now is at the same elevation. So that's kind of what I had previously. I was making this map a lot larger, and it was just taxing with all the grass and stuff that I was putting on it. This performance-wise is really bad. So I went ahead and trimmed it, especially for you all here. I could imagine it probably shut down some of your stuff. But all I can tell you is that from here, right, if you go further southwest, you're going to be getting essentially 50 feet for every 100 feet you go in terms of elevation, and then it's twice as much on the southeast side. So the southeast side is larger than the southwest, and both of those are larger than the fort. But as soon as you come into this map, you're now getting outside of the tall grass. Not that it's not grass and there's not some cover, it's just not as thick and burly where there's just total concealment. In addition, you are now at the same elevation as the other side, and the palisade wall is 10 feet. The entire part of it. It's also barely spiked, so it's kind of ridged and it's roped together very loosely.
So that rock from earlier, the one we saw on the east side, did that look like you could easily scale it and then use it to get over the palisade wall, or what was the?
Well, that rock formation is inside the fort.
Oh.
Yes. So that rock formation, yeah, go for it, dude.
So looking at this, they're likely to think that the least course of assault is going to be coming from the water itself, especially if we don't have ships because it's the hardest. I would advocate for using the Eri as distraction forces on the two southern sides to draw their attention to the southern part of the fort, where they have reinforced, they expect it to be assaulted there, to have the pepper in it, and then we could sneak in the back. If we don't feel like that's convincing enough, just have the Eri attack. We could split it up into. I know we don't like to split the party, but have our more aggressive people assaulting the front with the Eri to gather their attention, while the quieter people move in from the back and take out the Rangers. But I guess we don't want to take out the Rangers if we don't have to, so we could just use them as a distraction and everybody come in from the. Is this the north or based on the map?
Yeah, so the lake is the north.
So if we use the Eri to pull their attention to the south side, and then the walls are going to be the same to climb no matter where we're at. So climb it where they're least likely to be there, and if the attention is all on the south, we climb it on the north. You don't have to even necessarily worry about climbing if we can get all their attention on the south side. One of us can teleport up there and throw down a rope, and then we move in.
That would be
it's actually a good idea. Have an invisible person with a couple ropes up there so they don't see them. Then quietly set some ropes down. We can all climb up there stealthy-like and hopefully go straight for that hag that's bewitching them. See if we can turn the tide of battle before anybody else gets hurt.
Do we have any idea?
So I think we instruct the Eri to fire at the these transformed ones, but not trying to hit them, but trying to keep their head down, keep their attention, and then if we can sneak past them and get to the sag, I agree, Joe. That's the way to do it. She might come out in the middle of the fight though, and who knows? But if she does, that makes it easier for us. We go make a beeline for her.
Did it seem like the way the water got into the fort was like a grate or something, or was it going underneath? Was there no wall where the water was coming in, or?
It's not deep enough to be a feasible option.
No, I'm trying to see more about escape routes. Like if there might be like a weaker part of the wall where the water is, maybe worst case scenario we could try to escape through like a grate or something.
There is no grate. It's just running underneath the wall.
Dude, worst case scenario, we're dead. There ain't gonna be an escape.
Yeah, worst case scenario, we use some magic and blow a hole in the wall. You know,
And
too
from
bad we don't have one of them orc berserkers like they had in Lord of the Rings, where he jumped up and blew up the entire thing and they all invaded. That was a cool part of that play. But yeah, sounds like we have a plan of attack. So, let's scout around a little bit more, see if we can find a nice quiet spot, preferably in a grove of trees or something without any traps we can camp out and not be discovered.
Yeah, just to confirm if we're in agreement, before they start attacking, we would go, up or downstream and quietly swim so that we're in position at the start of the attack, and we're not trying to sneak around, like this during the actual fight, but we're already here when they start attacking.
Very much agreed.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So we're not splitting up, correct?
No reason to right now.
We should also warn
I don't think there's a reason to at the start, but if we notice that we need to, let's be flexible.
All right.
Also, if you're messaging the Ivrai, if you could, like, I don't know if you have enough, like, words to do it, so I understand you're limited by words, but if you could warn them about the cans, like the sound traps, that might be useful.
You got your magic dog, don't you?
The magic dog can convey general ideas, but if it's giving them a warning about the can, I don't know what it can do besides maybe walk up to the can and point at it with its nose.
Can't it
Although I
spell
suppose
things out
so,
in the mud with its paws?
I could have it spell things out in mud as paws. Be like, okay, downward line, sideward line, another sideward line. Like, it would take a long time, but maybe I could write out a few words.
Yeah, sure.
Come on now, spelling dog.
I have enough magic. We're just scouting today. I don't expect anything. I can send a message, one of them. I'll send a message to Theron. Mission starts at dawn. Attack the south passageway. We'll be in the north. Good luck.
It'll be the north.
Understood. The hell's the dog for then?
The dog is more for emergency orders, like, if we need to give him something on the fly and we can't use like a spell slot or anything. But okay.
You don't hear this.
That's in the message bag. Just there would be confused as you're sending them a magical message. They're hearing it, and then they look towards the dog and go, "What's the dog?"
Just wanted to give you a puppy. That's all we wanted.
That's really apparently what it was.
Oh, pooch.
All right, so you all are now backtracking out of this area, and you're going in the direction of the tree line. Pulling yourselves away, there's a number of hour here that passes by, and the darkness begins to dwindle here. I need to know the marching order of the party.
I will be in the middle.
I would like to be kind of behind. I would like to be somewhere kind of like back or front middle, like middle generally, but like not like more kind. Actually, yeah, more towards the front.
I would advocate. Felix would have advocated if we're in enemy territory that anybody with dark vision should be on the perimeter. Anybody that doesn't should be in the middle of the group.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm the fastest and probably the stealthiest, so I'm probably the one who should be first over the wall.
Oh, are we doing for entering?
That's not what.
Or is this
That's
just for
not.
marching back to our camp?
This is just marching back to find camp. I just need to know your marching order.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they in front, then as I described,
Thank you.
unless anybody has any other opinions.
Nope.
Sure,
Nope.
we have
Yep.
dark vision.
So put the normies in the middle, and then anybody with dark vision on the outside.
Yeah, me and Joe just holding hands to the middle.
I am not holding your hand.
Okay.
Because are you able to get in the map right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see deep grass map, although it's... Wait, I'm still loading, but it says the map is called
You're
deep
gonna
grass.
give me a refresh. You're gonna need it.
Man, this grass is deep.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, with perceptions of a 23 for leading by Thea, you're hiking through the deep grass and you've gotten a number of miles. I mean, you feel as if you're pretty close to the tree line. For those rangers, you are. You're maybe a half a mile out, if that. And at this point, Thea, you hear the sound of a shifting stone coming from the grass in this general direction. And then as soon as that stone moves, there's nothing. It stops. Unpause.
That was an accident.
How tall is the grass here?
Grass at this interval ranges from 6 to 8 feet.
Okay. I am telling everybody what I heard, the direction it came from through the mental link.
Okay. So then Othala reactively does this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything invisible.
Just sounded like a rock moving.
Okay, I don't have a pass without trace up anymore, right?
You do not.
Okay. I'd like to use my last second level spell slot and cast Dark Vision on myself.
Okay.
We'll just have we're gonna have Kestrel fly up like 10 feet, maybe 15, not too high, but get a top-down view of the area.
That is a very bad idea.
So with Dark Vision, and I'm actively looking around trying to see anything, do I notice anything out of the ordinary?
Do not. So Astral, you send up your bird?
Yeah.
Okay. Hear the string of a bow pulled. Arrow flies into the night. Kestrel's hit struck. The arrow seemed to be pulled not from the direction that you heard, Thea, but over here now.
Uh-huh. In the mental link. We are surrounded.
Do you have a pinpoint on where they are? I'll contra barrage and see if I can't hit some of them.
Wait. Do we know it's the Ivray or our enemy?
I don't think the Evrai would be doing anything at night. They made a big stink about waiting for daytime.
I'm gonna try to see if my dog is within range for me to communicate with them.
It is not.
Not the Ivry.
For now, everybody stay here. Don't make a move. Don't make a sound. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll pass by, but have your weapons ready. Can I make an active perception check to see if I can notice anything?
Go ahead and roll. Not. Just the sound of the rain falling down heavily.
We don't know if they've noticed all of us, so if it becomes clear that they've noticed us, I'll pretend to be injured.
That
No,
is
don't do
the
that.
worst idea I've ever heard.
Okay, guess not.
Get your hammer ready for a can of whoop ass to open on them. That clearly mean harm.
I don't hear anything beside. I didn't hear anything after that bowstring and the arrow being loosed.
Nope. Your intuition tells you that they are very much unaware to your all position as you are to them. It seems to be perhaps you simply stumbled upon each
I'm going to lay down on the ground as deep into the grass as I can. Hopefully it is covering me up between that and the rain. And about 120 feet to our north, I am going to cast Minor Image. So that's 20 cubic feet. And it's going to be in that for what looks like maybe paladins. The Talthars, the people that we saw at the Fort Farron attack. So 4 of those paladins, and they are carrying flaming radiant swords, and they seem to be patrolling north of us.
Okay, so you're casting it and patrolling north towards the lake.
Yeah, so staying within, so they are. I won't put it down right now, but I'll put it within my range. But I want to, put it so that it can basically circle and stay within my range, and as if they're going away from us this way.
Gotcha.
To see how people respond to it. I just want to see what happens.
Okay. So as you send out the image, you hear the sound of a bowstring coming from this direction. As the arrow flies, you can see very briefly there's something attached to the arrow. And as it explodes in the air, creates a greenish hue of a flare. The pop. This light fizzles with these dancing lights. As that happens, you hear the shifting of grass, the movement of figures from that general direction. The light begins to dissipate after several seconds.
Are the figures moving toward the flare? It sounds like.
moving in the direction of you.
I would change the image so the lights would go out momentarily. And then now there's hushed whispering coming from over that side.
Okay.
Like, that says things like, I think something's coming. What do you think that was? And then in the mind link, I'm like, they're distracted for a moment. You guys got a minute. I don't know what you want to do.
Probably sneak out of here.
Yeah, that's gonna draw a lot of attention.
And I can't actually see the screen of where you were pinging, but
Don't
I'm assuming
move.
we're just going to move in the direction where we didn't hear any rustling or movement.
They're here. They're at our like southeast.
Another arrow is thrown.
Yes.
Flare pops. Over the sound of the hushed whispers, the string of the bow comes from this direction.
Yep. And directly in front of us.
You hear
in the
more
direction.
figures shuffling in the grass close by. Felix coming very close to you.
The major image would move because I didn't keep using my action every turn. It lasts for 10 minutes, so I'd keep using it to just continue to distract them. Maybe even going in circles slightly.
Okay. Flare goes out. Figures continue to move through the grass. All you can begin to see as you turn around. Creature. Shifting. Black robe. You see invisibility. As soon as you do that, you begin to disappear in the direction of the movements.
We have to move.
All you hear a whistle coming from this direction, sounding like a songbird. Lets out a series of 5 whistles.
Everybody tighten up the formation. Follow Thea. Hand in hand. Single file.
In for good, buddy.
Okay, I'm gonna pull the hood up of the cloak that I'm wearing. I'm trying to make myself look like the ones that we took out at the cabin. The boathouse.
Okay.
I get next to Costas and Soren when he gets next to us, and cast precipitation to make us all the color of black. So we're blending in with darkness.
Okay.
To try to make us less noticeable.
I also have my bow out.
Are you stealthing as you line up together, grabbing hands?
That's the
I will
idea, yeah.
begin roughly.
I need
Letting
stealth.
Thea lead us, because she has, the instinct and perception best at it.
I need stealth checks, please.
I'm also gonna stealth obviously because the people that I'm trying to impersonate are stealthing clearly.
Would changing Costas's color make him help his disadvantage?
No.
I tried, buddy. Oh, but I could help myself.
Do we have sneaky step?
Nope.
No, I used it all earlier. Then I used my last slot for dark vision, which didn't do me any good whatsoever.
Oh, I rolled very bad.
So did I.
Same here. Oh, Joe rolled 2.
So, as you group together in line, holding hands and slipping out in mud, the grass rustling to your north becomes distant as the major image spins circles and whispers and voices. The sounds of 5 figures stay as you can hear, rummaging through the grass, stop immediately, the bows string. As they do, I need everyone to roll initiatives.
Yeah.
Damn it.
we still have the gift of alacrity?
No, that was yesterday.
Yep, unfortunately.
I also want to say that Soren does not have dark vision.
Yep.
Which is really weird that satyrs don't have dark
It
vision.
probably would have been in the.
I was gonna say I'm gonna move Soren into the middle because that made when I put Soren down I was like, oh yeah, Soren satyrs got dark vision. I looked at it, I'm like, no, they do not.
Nope.
All right, so I'm gonna have the initiative here rolled. I don't think we're adding anything. No gift of alacrity here, as the bow's string. There's no surprise rounds in D&D. You all hear the bows being pulled. They're not being stealthy about that point. Felix, you do not hear necessarily the sounds of the ruffling, though. So the positions of the figures is really just Thea that can overhear that. But you all can hear the bows being pulled through the actual rain. Could be another flare. It could be an attack, right? It's unclear. What is clear is our time has ended. We're not going to go through. You're not going to get this started while we got potentially another series of I don't know how long this will be. So it was interesting. It was interesting your all approach to just not move. I was very it was very just like over just stop, no movements whatsoever. I think it was interesting. A nice work with the major image there too. I think you'd be very surprised how many actually followed it.
Good.
Okay. So we're gonna close out that. I'm gonna get the ambience off of the rain, even though I don't mind the rain, but yeah, it can be pretty loud at times. So and calculate some experience for you all. Does anybody have any questions while I do this? Calculation.
Just one. What was I actually able to cast pass without trace on the 3rd level? Oh, okay, that was my mistake. No retconning it now. We're already found out, but my bad. Wasn't paying attention to the rules.
I mean, we had some bad stealth checks too. It might not have changed anything.
It's okay.
Still.
We all mess up sometimes reading. I have a wizard. Wizard just read spells. That's all we have to do. I forgot that Sickening Radiance could have helped with Nightwing, but we all forget some things.
I'll bear that in mind for next time. Oh, also, do you guys hear like my air conditioner going off in the background?
No, you're good.
Nope.
Okay, I'm glad.
Discord's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I think the
good.
only thing that I've heard is some feedback from your microphone, Jay. There's been like a kind of this buzz feedback every once in a while.
Sorry, I got a new microphone, so I'm still working out the kinks on it.
Yeah, I think it's what is it could be a gate threshold because it seems to cut out pretty quickly. Like it's like cutting in and cutting out super fast. So it could be that buzzing, I don't know, comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I have a Blue Yeti X. It took me, I think I spent like a half a day like adjusting all of like the little settings on it, and then even then I was like, oh, this doesn't sound that great.
Yeah, I just got it yesterday, and
Yeah.
I didn't hook anything up. I just got on it today to play.
Yeah.
Forgot to configure everything. I just
No,
did it
it's
real
not
quick.
it's not a big deal at all. Like it's just like that. It's like a little like tone sound, right? That comes in.
Okay.
It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, don't worry about
All
it.
right, good to know it's not a major problem.
Yeah, I was just
Nah.
letting in terms of sounds that I've been hearing from people's microphones. It's just
All right, cool.
That's just like a high pitched whine that kicks in every time your filter turns on and you talk. But yeah, audio engineering is difficult.
Yeah, it can be a headache.
Sure.
Man, the hunt for Grugash. This is an epic arc for us.
Yeah. Talk about convoluted. which is good. I mean, we're getting tons of background information on what the hell's going on in the wider world, but I think we all expected, like maybe we'd spend a month the real time clearing this out, going on to the next place. But yeah, we're
We
okay,
spent a
Nate.
long time in these marshes.
Wait, how long have we been in Fort Fan? Like 3 months now in real life.
something like that.
It's crazy.
We're just gonna spend like 5 weeks just getting to the next town, just like in travel, just traveler pay, just fucking.
All right, so we have 1,115 experience, each which you at 66,625, and I did not expect the 666 there, so that was not planned. But there we go. It's
I'm
not
about it.
This campaign, like, as I stated before, it can be long, depending on how you all navigate things, how you all do stuff, and just enjoy the time. If you like a place,
Yeah, it's fun.
more than welcome to stay in it, enjoy it, and relish in it. I've had people go to a place and they just like, we want nothing to do with this. They like immediately bounce out. So it's just the nature of the game and the campaign and all these different places and diverse storylines and such. I'm going to get the stream closed out. So if you are watching us, thanks so much. We really appreciate it for the Wayward Ones.
Whoop, whoop.
Check us out next week, Saturdays at 4, and see what happens here on this ambush in the deep grass. So we'll see. Anyways, farewell. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Peace out.
Bye bye.